Going live?
We are live. Hello.
Yep. Hello there. Hello, everybody.
Morning.
To Koigar.
So, we still don't get to see my face, but we do get to see my new keyboard.
I can kind of see your face.
Ah, shit. Ah,
It's
dang it.
okay. I've seen it before. It was blurry enough so nobody really saw you.
Yeah, dang it. It's more of a wide angle lens than I thought I had.
That's all right. That's all right.
Mm.
All right. Now,
Now,
this.
now, I may go back and edit this so that it gets plump out of there at the end. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, this episode of the Mandalorian, if we can call it that. Uh,
Yeah, this is as much an episode of Mandalorian as I think it was episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett was about Boba Fett. Hmm.
you could say the same about episode 6 as well for Book of Boba Fett. So.
Well, that one was like half.
No, it wasn't even half because he was in the show for less than a minute.
I remember being willing to actually grant that it was about Boba Fett. Half. It wasn't a full 2 episodes that weren't it, but it was like an
I would
episode and a
call
half.
it this. I would call it an episode of the Star Wars show featuring Boba Fett.
True enough, but like one of them got a full video of me explaining that no, this is not a fucking episode of Book of Boba Fett. The other one I was just like, eh.
All right. So, what was everybody's thoughts on this episode? Just out of curiosity. We'll go around the table as usual.
Yeah, I'll actually start this time. So
Okay.
yeah, this episode. Oh, did I like it? In a lot of ways, I liked it. Amazingly enough,
Surprising
but
coming from you.
but it was not an episode of Mandalorian because honestly, the parts that I liked about it had nothing to do with Mando. 30, 38 minutes of this show had nothing to do with it. Only 15 minutes had to do with Mandalorian. So I found a lot of the stuff in that 38 minutes interesting. And it was good. But I also, now with that caveat, I also don't like it as a Star Wars show because I don't like what it did to devalue the original trilogy, which we're going to get into. But if it weren't for that, I actually liked those 38 minutes overall. So yeah, that's my high level overview of what I thought of this.
All right. So, who you want to go next? CT.
Clockwise.
Oh, clockwise. Yeah, CT.
Right now it's 2:08 at my end.
208? No, I was saying clockwise, just it goes from me to you to not so.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So,
sorry.
what were your thoughts, CT? Just curious.
My
of the
thoughts?
episode.
Well, I kind of like the dystopian aesthetic of the episode, I guess. I
Okay.
mean, sort of almost kind of a little bit like 1984-ish, I guess, but
What do you mean by
That felt utopian
Oh.
rather than dystopian.
well,
No.
utopian, right? Although the
And
That
I
was-
say utopian with air quotes, but
Okay, I was gonna say dystopian actually sounds accurate.
yeah, no, it was accurate. I was
Yeah, I missed the air quotes.
apparently, the New Republic, apparently is putting, Imperial people who are officially, affiliated with the Imperials to be in a amnesty program where they're supposed to go through some sort of program where they forget about doing Imperial things exactly.
Yeah. Now keep in mind,
I'm not sure if that makes any sense here. If they
this is
I'm
more of
not
a
sure that's going to be possible when you number everybody rather than
well.
name.
Now here's the thing. At this point, I want the high level, not the nitty gritty. We're gonna get into the nitty gritty.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What do we think?
What was your thoughts on the episode, CT?
I mean, you saw the way that I said it. I didn't get into any of the details of it.
okay, well,
Because remember, we walked through it. I've got I've got the episode. We'll walk through the episode.
Yeah.
Well, I do sort of kind of feel like that it was a little bit of an episode that wasn't exactly Mandalorian, I guess, but
Now, keep in mind, no one needs to agree with me here. You don't have to have my agreement. If you want to disagree with me on
right.
it not being Mandalorian, feel goddamn free to disagree.
Yep.
Mm.
I mean, I did kind of, I will say, I do kind of like it a bit. I mean,
Okay, cool. I did too. And sorry for cutting you off. Just, I would just.
JG Montana. Oh, Dad's here.
Montana. I missed the name. Okay, but still, let's go for you next.
All right. So my thoughts. Good ideas, but overall, the episode as a whole was a disappointment, and probably you know me. Most of the time, like at best, when I see an episode of The Mandalorian, I'm like, wow, that was great, or that was good, or that was just okay, or meh. You know, that wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be, but it was all right. This one was the most disappointing episode I've ever seen of this series. Like the most disappointing episode of this.
Wait, of the series, do you mean of the season or all of Mandalorian?
I mean all of Mandalorian.
Okay, I'll just confirm it.
Like not even the one episode of the Mandalorian that's inside the book of Boba Fett was this disappointing.
I would disagree, but would you like to know which episode I would say is the worst?
What would that be?
The Prison Break episode. The one that so many people praise. Mandalorian show. What about Andor?
Isn't that the
no? There's a Prison Break episode in Andor, but he's talking about the one where they break the Twi'lek dude out.
Yes. God
back in
damn
season
it.
1.
That episode just showed how stupid the writers make Mando, because that episode just there's no way he should have even gone on that mission to begin with, because while he was on that mission before they even got to the prison ship, Grogu was being threatened by these people, and he just laughed it off when they were real legit threats, and then let's go anyway. No, he should have actually killed them before they ever got to the prison ship. If Mando was actually being the character he was supposed to be. So that's my nomination for the worst. So yeah, sorry for butting in, but yeah.
I'm sorry if I sound a little bit tired for some reason. I mean, I need something to distract me a bit to keep me awake.
Don't worry, you're fine.
Right.
So yeah, back to you, Natso. I kind of cut you off. Natso?
Did you lose me again?
Okay, you're back.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, you're back now.
No, good ideas, but really piss poor execution.
Mm-hmm.
Like what good ideas exactly presented exactly, and what should have been done executed really.
Well, that's not what we're doing right now. Remember?
We'll get to it when we get to that part in the episode.
Yeah,
all right.
The exacts is exactly what we're not doing.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I will say, okay,
not so. Not so. What's going on with your set? Okay, it sounds like you just disappeared again for a moment.
Sorry, I unplugged something, so I had to take care of it really quick.
Okay, that's fine. I just thought we were losing you again.
No, yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. So is that the end of what you were having to say?
Yeah, just good ideas, but overall, like the most disappointing episode to me.
Okay. So now, since JG is here, or at least theoretically here, if he wants to take himself off mute and tell us what he thinks, we can go there. Otherwise, we'll start. 1, 2.
Oh, I didn't even notice his
He's I n-
his
Ned.
his profile pic is Jar Jar.
I think you have
Jar-
him muted here.
No, that's him.
No, he's muted
Oh.
himself. He's probably on the road, so he probably can't discuss anything.
Yep, which is fine. That's actually what I was saying. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when he comes on, when and if he comes on, he can actually tell us.
Yeah, of course.
So now I'm going to share the episode.
Or the bits you can share of the episode without getting copyright strike.
Well, yeah, they don't have a problem with the images. They just have a problem with me actually playing it.
Yeah, playing the actual audio of the episode.
Yeah.
We'll go to the very beginning. Previously on blah blah blah.
Let's make sure you remember who Dr. Pershing is.
Yeah, no, I skip these now because like no like if Mando had not been in the Book of Boba Fett, I would see reason to go through this previously.
Mm-hmm.
But because Book of Boba Fett basically caught me up on how things are with Din Djarin, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to know. I already know where he is.
True. But this stuff is reminding us about all the stuff that's way back, because like this first episode shit.
I think part of the reason I skip is so I'm surprised too, or hope to be surprised, because if they show certain individuals, then I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm like, oh, it's going to be this character and this character and this character.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather be at this point. I'd much rather be surprised if that's possible.
Not really, but yeah. Sorry, just joking. But honestly, that's part of what I like about this episode, since it wasn't all about the plot armored characters, Grogu and Din. I actually didn't know what was going to be happening with Pershing and this chick. So I could actually think about what might be happening, who might be portraying who is presenting as what's honest, and who might be playing a double game. And I could actually think about that because there was actually things going on that wasn't.
I was waiting for the scene to shift back to Din and Bo for a sec, because I'm like, yeah, okay, we're catching up with these characters, and then we caught up with them for like 30 fucking minutes, and I'm like,
38.
Oh, can we please shift to somebody else?
38 minutes with them and 15 minutes with the actual show.
To be fair, we've had 2 full episodes with the characters already.
Well, true. I mean, you wouldn't want to have too much with the actual characters that your show is supposed to be about, would you?
Fair point.
So yeah, and honestly, I was happy to see more of these 2 characters, but I kind of expected to see more of them in relation to the actual show's continuity instead of it being a side story of the show.
Well, I mean, they might have some sort of point of explanation of why they're showing this. I guess
Oh no!
That's kind of what a certain someone tried to.
A certain someone tried to what? Not so. Not so.
Oh no, we lost him again.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot! You lost me again. Sorry about that. No. A certain someone mentioned to me that they might have relevance in the show, and I'm thinking to myself,
Oh,
yeah,
of course
we'll see.
No. Okay, let's just be clear for me calling this a side story. Of course, the writers are going to make this intersect with Mandalorian, just like in Book of Boba Fett, when they played an episode of The Mandalorian. they made it intersect with the Book of Boba Fett. It doesn't make it a Mandalorian story. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean, of course, this is going to intersect with Mando's story, but damn, it really isn't artful. It's just, oh hey, now let's look at something else that has nothing to do with it here, and we'll weave it back somehow, because of course they're going to.
Yeah. No, like I just said we'll see because I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me if they're saving this plot line for like the next season or for a completely different show that has absolutely no relevance, and it was just put in here just because.
Okay, I'm going to say that another season is possible, considering that both these characters were introduced in The Mandalorian. I think it is reasonable to expect that that they could be weaved back in, because they were weaved out of the show. They'll be weaved back into the show because this is where both of them were introduced.
That's my hope, anyway.
Yeah. So that's how I see that.
All right.
And I did like actually learning more about her. And yeah, her.
Can we fast forward to like the first official scene so we can talk about it?
Oh, definitely. You mean this? There's nothing magic about the minds of Mandalore. She's right. She's not wrong. Except according to the last scene, maybe she is, because we were able to just put that liquid into the bowl and just immediately see that it was the living waters. Probably a radiation or something.
Yeah.
Just saying. Lucasfilm.
You know what? It's not radiation. You know what it is?
But
it has small traces of mythosaur piss or something.
Oh God.
That's how you know if you've been baptized in the piss of the mythosaur. That's how you know it's official.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna be absent for a moment here. I'm gonna see if my orders here already. So
not
I'm
a problem.
Just gonna mute myself.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So now we are exactly where the last episode left off.
She's staring at the water because she saw the huge mythosaur. Yeah. And
Yep.
then, for whatever reason, rather than do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation again, I can't take off the armor or whatever. Although she could lift the helmet just so his mouth is out. And do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation or something. So that he doesn't die from like water inhalation or some shit like that.
Actually, the reason why I didn't think about that is because I think that it was more a matter of the helmet was probably sealed, so the water wasn't getting in. It's just that there was no air to be brought in.
Oh, okay. So he literally just wakes up for okay.
Yeah, it was asphyxiation that he was having trouble with, not literal drowning.
I hope she at least made sure that she could hear his heartbeat, like he was alive.
Yeah, let's hope that she did that. So yeah, but
he gets up, he collects some of the mythosaur piss water.
Mm-hmm. And they talk, and she actually says, "This is the way with him."
Aww.
Okay, so you bathed in the living waters. What was that?
Oh, JG just popped in for a second.
I know, I just didn't hear what he said. Okay, so yeah. Pause.
Yeah, babe.
You are a Mandalorian
again.
Basically, I'm humoring you.
By these dipshit standards.
Mm-hmm. Can we leave now?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's later in the episode, but yeah, we'll talk about it later. But
yeah, that the ending scene. Yeah. which I might actually just once this beginning scene ends, I might bring us to the ending scene because it has nothing to do with the middle part. So
Just fast forward, and then we'll talk about the middle part afterward.
yeah, because the two parts literally have nothing to do with each other. So I think
pretty much.
So I think that might be the best way to handle it. Which is I still need to put out my video on Kenobi, but that's actually how I made my video on Kenobi. I followed the Reva story and then I followed the Kenobi story because they really had little to do with each other.
I feel like the gauntlet that Bo-Katan has would be a better ship for her and Din to like share, and then he goes out into the fighter.
Mm-hmm.
In case she needs backup.
Kind of like what we were talking about. If the ship was a little bit bigger with Spike in Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be hard for them to get a bigger like gauntlet. I'm like, how did there had one of those you know what? They should just track down Bo's people and take that cruiser. They can keep Bo's gauntlet, and they can keep they can keep his N1 starfighter in there, and they can just run across the galaxy collecting stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great idea for a show. I've been watching too much Babylon 5.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you turn up the audio on your end?
Apparently he can't hear us. I can't turn up the audio anymore. It's up to Ned if he can.
No, I can actually hear you. Sorry, I just had a text come through, so I missed what you said.
Yeah, no, the audio is very, very low on my end. Is there any way you can crank up?
You mean from the VLC or overall?
Just overall, because I'm holding it right up to my ear to hear you guys.
That's odd, because I mean, actually, with your voice, your voice is really loud.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't know if it's the Androids that are having problems or Twitter itself.
Here. Edit mic settings. It looks like everybody is actually up as loud as StreamYard will let it go.
Okay.
Yeah. I think part of the reason I keep cutting out is because I keep backing out to look at like Twitter or something like that.
Oh yeah, and if you're on a phone, then that's what's causing it, because I know that's happened to me when I've been on somebody else's stream, and they're like, "Where'd you go?" And I'm like, "I'm still talking."
Oh, I fixed it. I fixed it. It wasn't on speaker. Somehow it turned off a speaker.
Okay.
Now I hear you guys loud and clear. I'm going to mute for a minute. I'm putting gas in my car.
Okay.
So yeah, they leave the mines. He collects the water,
and somehow the water is the proof. What I thought they were getting as proof was, I thought that Bo-Katan was actually recording him. So look at this video. But apparently proof is
it's piss water.
No, agreed. But I mean, that's what I originally thought it was going to be. It's like, okay, you've got a witness, and not just her sworn statement. Look at the video. Was what I was thinking it was going to be. Apparently,
no, they're Mandalorians. They have to do things the old way when it comes to tradition.
But technically, showing the water doesn't show that he bathed in it. It just showed that he found it. So how does it prove anything?
I don't know. Can somebody tell me what Paz Vizsla's problem is with people? Like he's got like a stick up his ass.
Well, I mean, you know that I think that Paz Vizsla is still in Darksaber, so he is completely fine with letting the wielder of it die if it's not doing exactly what he wants by making it really freaking heavy. So yeah, he's stick up his ass. If you don't do what he wants you to do.
Din is still not worthy.
Yeah, so Din can just die. Which I am joking on that part. That's not actual criticism, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, woo.
Yay!
We have bathed in living
Yay.
waters, and we do not have any actual proof of it. We just have proof that we were at the living waters.
Huh.
Now, isn't it interesting that it's like, if I give you proof that I bathed in them, then I'm redeemed, right? Yeah. He brings back proof that he found the living waters. That's not what he said he was going to bring back proof of. Just saying. So
Yeah, no, I thought he was bringing back proof of that he bathed, pretty much.
yeah, proof of the deed. So yeah, we have apparently done the deed. She is asking if he saw anything down there, like you're mentioning, and he's like, no. And Bobby's from the Purge must trigger.
Yeah, that kind of bothered me that she didn't mention the mythosaur to him.
Yeah. I don't know.
It bothered me a little bit that she didn't say, like, I saw a mythosaur down there. I guess the legends are real or some shit like that.
She might be thinking that she was not missing things, and she was asking the question to see if it was if someone else could confirm what she saw. To be generous to her.
Maybe.
One thing that I do kind of like about her helmet, as opposed to say Mando's, is that her helmet actually exhibits emotion. It like inquisitiveness with the way that it's curved and stuff, whereas Din's is it's just there.
Yeah. Like, I don't have a problem with either one.
I'm back.
I think her helmet is supposed to be more female oriented anyway.
Yeah. But also remember she was one of the royalty, so she's more likely to get the full on customized, whereas Din's just peasant and got just here, have it.
Yeah, I still think his Beskar is better than hers because his is like thicker.
Maybe. I'm not sure or just how much the thickness of it matters, considering the material's actual properties.
Well, he's literally wearing plot armor. Her plot armor is there. It's just not as like. It's just not as like her. She's more vulnerable than he is.
True. She's more vulnerable because the show is not named Bo-Katan. It's not named the Bo-Katan. That is the point. So now, yay, we leave.
So yeah, they take off, they leave, fly back to her castle.
And oh shit, what's going on? There's 5 TIE interceptors. Okay, now, what do we remember from episode 4 of Star Wars: A New Hope? Han Solo explains to us that if you see one of them, they are short-range fighters. That means they must have come from somewhere.
Enough. And but I hate to reference this because it worries me because I think they're going in this direction. In Heir to the Empire, they had developed TIEs that could go into hyperspace.
No, I know, but this is TIE interceptors, not TIE defenders.
No, I wasn't even talking about TIE defenders. These were like regular run-of-the-mill TIE fighters.
I do not remember that. And if I saw that,
it's actually in the comic version on the panel.
I don't care about the comic. Reference the book. Do you want me to go into my tirade against the Star Wars comics?
No, I don't.
You do not reference Star Wars comics to prove anything to me. If you can't reference the book, I don't care. It was not in the book. I would have raged if it was in the book.
They actually mentioned this. It was like a retcon type thing, but they actually mentioned that because I asked the question. It's like, hey, there were regular run of the mill TIE fighters that jumped hyperspace, in the comic, and they mention that, like, yeah, these are a newer model of TIE fighters. They're more advanced.
Do you want to know why I don't buy it at all? Keep in mind
Why?
that Star Wars tech is the thing that I particularly love. The thing about TIE fighters is that the TIE fighter is a TIE fighter because it is an engine strapped on to the cockpit with two solar panels on the side to power or the guns and the engine. There is literally no room on a TIE fighter. If you were to put a hyperdrive on a TIE fighter, it would ruin the TIE fighter. Because the reason the TIE fighter is so scary is because that's all that it is.
I'm gonna look this up. You go
Yeah.
ahead with the thing that.
If you can show it to me from the novel, I will pay more attention. But I've read the novel multiple times, and if I'd ever picked that detail up, I would have raged. Because that is no longer a TIE fighter. Sorry. and and if you'd like me to mention later when we're not talking about the episode, my issue with the comics, I can. It's not that I hate comics, it's that it almost okay. Just very briefly, my general issue with the comics is every time someone tries to show me that something in the EU is bad, they always show the comics. I really can't think of any time other than somebody bitching about Joru Sabath or Luke from the Heir to the Empire stuff. I cannot think of any other time that they've actually mentioned a novel. It's always coming from the comics.
Mm.
That's that's the very bare bones level reason why my response is don't quote the comics to me, quote a book. And
Right. No, I'm trying to look into that
yeah,
again, because I remember seeing something that says, like, uh,
now,
I remember seeing something in relation about the regular TIE fighters being advanced to go into hyperspace.
have you ever heard of a TIE Advanced?
No, I'm talking
And
about run of the mill TIE fighters that have
yeah,
been.
but you said advanced, so I was thinking you might have been been confusing it with a TIE Advanced. So that's why I said that. There actually is a TIE fighter called a TIE Advanced.
Let me ask you this: is this piece of dialogue in the book? Again, it's been a while, so I'll just have to check the book. But it's a guy telling Captain Pelion, it says the scout ships have just come out of Lightspeed, and
Okay.
I am going by the comic for the moment because the comic portrays regular TIE fighters. So I'm gonna look into the beginning of the Heir to the Empire book from the files there. Hang on.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be back in a sec because I need to refresh my water. So yeah.
I get you.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know if anybody else is, but I am. So, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, because I was just looking at like the first chapter, first paragraph. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Captain Pelion, a voice called down port side. Crew pit through the hum background conversation. Message from the Central Line. The scout ships have just come out of light speed.
Okay.
Pelion leaning over the shoulder of the man in the camera. Okay.
Does it mention them being TIE fighters?
No, it does not. That was kind of
Or
a...
was that a stupid artist who decided...
Yeah, it was probably an oopsie from the artist.
It was an artist that that decided that they were probably TIE fighters. And here's the problem with the comics.
No,
So-
I get your problem with it.
No, and I'm actually going to explain this, which is a little bit more charitable than you might actually think that I am here. The problem is that the novels, since they take longer to write, they have more time to get input back from the group that was actually overseeing them for canon consistency. With comics, they come out on a much more frenetic pace. There is not as much time for the overseeing of it to go, wait, no, that's not right. You shouldn't do that. It's already been done by that point and published.
Yeah, mind you, not all comics are like that, but
I know, but I've seen that happen. Is what I'm saying, and
I do see what you mean,
and
I don't think it's. Sorry, go ahead.
That's what I'm convinced causes the comics to be the fodder for the people to say, but the EU was insanely inconsistent, because that's why the comics were inconsistent, because there wasn't as much oversight put on them as there was oversight put on the books.
Yeah, well, during the time of Dark Horse, there was a little bit more oversight.
Yes, I'm more referring to when there was a glut of them coming.
Yeah, no, I do see what you mean, and again, this is not the first time this comic has made an oopsie.
Yeah, and that's exactly what just happened here. And
I'll concede to that it is an oopsie, because
what just happened here shows my point.
No, again, I'll concede to that it is an oopsie, because again, the second two are a lot better, but when it comes to the comic adaptation of Heir to the Empire, the artists seem to think Luke had a blue lightsaber.
I've never paid that much attention to the colors, to be completely honest. So that's something that I would have missed. And for myself, I adore Star Wars technology. And when people go, but it's Star Wars, tech doesn't matter. It's like, actually it does, and I can tell you how things tend to work in it. Could I
know a little about Sinar technologies, but not that much.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying Sinar. I said Star Wars tech.
Yeah.
And just overall, it's like there's a lot of stuff. If you assume that certain things that we don't know how to do now can happen, that I can explain how blasters work. I can explain how ion cannons work. I can explain how the TIE fighters work. Like I was just going into my autistic detail about why.
I get you. Can you explain how a lightsaber works?
Yes, I can. Padawan has heard me.
A logical explanation as to why the energy beam stops after a certain point.
Yeah, actually, yes. Do you want to know?
Ooh, please. Probably not here, though, but...
No, you asked. I'm going to answer for anyone who's watching.
Okay. All right.
The reason is because, first of all, it's not an energy beam. It's a plasma beam. So it is actually plasma that is being circulated. When you start up the lightsaber, you actually start a magnet. You actually make a magnetic bottle, and so the plasma goes up and hits the top of the bottle and recirculates back down and just keeps on circulating. And when you hit somebody with it, it disrupts the magnetic bottle and pours plasma onto whoever disrupted it through the hole in the magnetic bottle.
You know, that actually makes sense. And let me say this. I've heard even in the books, people call a lightsaber an energy blade. But that could just be them misunderstanding how the technology works.
I don't think I've ever seen one sec. I don't think I've ever seen a Jedi call it an energy blade, but I have seen plenty of non-Jedi call it that.
Well, that's what I mean. Like non-Jedi have called it an energy, like from time to time, an energy blade or a laser sword. And we're talking about from an outsider's perspective.
Exactly,
because the Jedi didn't share their knowledge on the technology. So
I've only ever had a problem with Jedi calling it a laser sword. It's when somebody who doesn't know it calls it a laser sword, it's like fine, cool. But when a Jedi, what I've seen in Jedi, it's in Disney at some point it called a laser sword. I was like, I'm gonna hurt you. Because
so the crystals hold plasma.
You see, this is the part that you have to make the jump to go, I don't know how it works. But somehow plasma is generated. I would like to think that it's due to the force between the user and the lightsaber itself, but a non-force user is able to activate it, so that goes out of the window. But something about the tech inside it generates the plasma with the crystal and whatever shit that they put in there. That is the part where you have to make the leap of faith to go. Okay.
Well, keep in mind, there's usually lightsabers have like two types of crystals in it. They have a color crystal.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's the leap of faith, that the crystals that they have in there are able to generate the plasma somehow.
Okay,
some way.
but it is kind of a mix of maybe it's you could probably make the argument that there's midi-chlorians inside the crystal and they're able to create, because remember, midi-chlorians can create life. They're able to generate like plasma, like anti.
Yeah.
So maybe the way the lightsaber works is that it focuses. And I know I'm going off the comics again, but primitive lightsabers in Tales of the Jedi used to have like their crystals and whatnot in a power pack attached to a cord.
Yep. And that's not just the comics, by the way. I just remember reading some of that too.
Well, it actually started in the comics, but it got expanded upon in stuff like, you know, the Lost Tribe of the Sith books and whatnot. Although they didn't really have a lot of lightsabers, considering the Sith didn't have a lot. Fun fact, though, the way the canon explanation works for, you know, why a lightsaber goes red when you go on the dark side is they bleed a crystal.
Yeah.
Rather than the explanation that they have in the old EU was that a red crystal was like an artificial.
And the bleeding the crystal goes along with whatever the hell they had Asuka do to make the white lightsabers, which that makes you wonder about how you get a dark saber. And
you mispronounced her name.
I said Asuka.
It's Ahsoka.
Oh, okay. The mispronunciation that I hate is when people say Ash, as if the H and the S. It's like,
I've heard people make that too.
Oh, I've seen it from people doing from being Ahsoka fan accounts. I'm like, guys, I don't like her all that much. She's fine, but you guys love her, and you're saying ASH. I'm gonna hurt you now.
Ashoka.
So Ahsoka or Asuka.
Or something.
So yeah. Now the point that led us all out onto here is that I was pointing out that we have 5 TIE interceptors, and we know from the original movie, from Han Solo's smuggler knowledge, that if you see one of these things, there is going to be a Star Destroyer or other platform nearby. Yeah.
If it wouldn't be a Star Destroyer, it would be like a small dropship cruiser.
Yeah, which is going to have more than 5.
Yeah, or even an Imperial Dreadnought would definitely have like like 5 to 10 TIE fighters on it alone. So
Yeah. So the reason why I mentioned this is that they act like these 5 is all that they need to deal with, when both of them should know just instinctively, because this is not an imperial held system, that there's more where this came from.
Yep.
yeah, it could have been that they just assumed that it was a smaller patrol. Because remember, Gideon didn't even have a full Star Destroyer in season 2. He had like I don't even know what that type of cruiser is called. It's escaping me. But he had like one of those small cruiser ships. So
now, are you telling me that that people at the level of where Din and Bo are at survived this long by assuming the best?
no, they probably should have assumed that there was a Star Destroyer in orbit.
Yes, and what do? They go, "Oh shit! I've just got 5 TIE interceptors, and that's all we have to deal with." What the fuck?
It could have been that they thought that the Star Destroyer was, not necessarily that close, maybe just in system. And
but
yeah,
no,
that's still,
you're right there, but it's still encroaching. It's still coming closer. It would still be
Yeah.
adding tension. Like, okay, we taking care of these. Is now what do we need to do now? Not, oh hey, let's just make sure that we're completely fine by the end of this. No, it's okay. Let's land quickly, make sure we're fine, get back up, and deal with what's got to be coming.
Well, no, her home was destroyed, so they left.
Well, yeah, but no. My point was before the home was destroyed.
yeah. They
Was
they
there
didn't
an
even
Imperial
they didn't even do a quick flyby to make sure nothing was everything was clear.
Yeah, they did this full fight here with the 5 TIE interceptors, where I personally felt no tension at all, because of course there was.
Yeah, I agree there. I didn't really feel, because the closest I felt to any sort of tension in that moment was after Din jumped out to jump into his fighter, but even then it wasn't that much tension.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I did like when this part where we get to see the R5 go into free fall for a moment. That amused me. But then again, I was simply amused during all of this fight. There was no tension. It just had me go, hit. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and Dan even made a comment that those tire interceptors weren't like he noticed that they weren't like regular flyers. They were a little higher skilled.
Well, interceptors automatically are, because they are actually TIE fighters on steroids.
I think that I don't think there was a ship. I don't think there was a ship in orbit. I think there's
no, not in orbit, in system. I said in system.
Yeah, at least in system.
Yeah, either that, or they're on the planet somewhere, and she doesn't know about it.
Well, that would be one hell of a security breach.
Yeah, but to be fair, it wouldn't be the first time, because what's his face, Grief Karga didn't even know the Empire was on his planet.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's a populated planet where they could actually hide among things. Her planet is.
It's just her and droids, so there's no reason why she wouldn't have been able to detect Imperials.
Yeah, there's nothing to hide in. And to be able to construct, and here's the other thing: the other planet, that the installation that was there was predated in the fall of the Empire. But this planet, the landing facilities, the facilities to work on the TIE fighters and stuff, that would have had to been installed on her watch.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't buy that.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Unless they repurposed what was already there.
technically possible, but I would think that she would know what was already there since this is her and her family's royal home planet.
Yeah. So they would have to be in the system somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And she and Din should not be thinking best case scenarios where these might be the strays or these might be the only ones that would be in the hangars of a dropship that would have them. That they should be going, oh shit, these things are short range fighters.
Right.
Where did they come from?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't do that.
Yeah,
which made me go over to my wife and go, "Why are you dumb?"
There's just a lot of things they don't think through.
And these are the characters that should be thinking it through.
Yeah,
that's my thing. That they should think through these things through. That's the characters we've been presented, and they're not acting with the capabilities that we've been told that they should have.
Yeah. Sometimes I get the feeling that Din Djarin is kind of Forrest Gumping his way through things.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, and one other thing, he gets into Forrest Gump just kind of being a moron, but everything works out for him.
Yeah. No, the whole point is like Forrest Gump is a simpleton who things shouldn't work out for, but they still work out for him in the end. That's the definition of Forrest Gumping. I'm like, this shouldn't have worked out for you, but it did.
Yeah. Did you guys see my avatar?
Did I see what?
My avatar.
Yes. Jarface.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's funny. I thought that was hilarious.
No, I noticed it earlier.
Do you see my name?
Jarface.
Yes.
JG Montana.
Yep.
Okay, back to the episode.
All right.
Back to the unnecessary action.
Oh crap! I just removed him. My bad. Sorry about that.
I'm still here.
I know, but I mean, I actually put you in the back room.
So yeah, no, he.
So I was
gets into the fighter.
And isn't it amazing that? Well, no. Here's the thing: he gets into the fighter, and isn't it great that the ship was all prepped and there was no takeoff time at all? He got there, pressed the button, the engines were completely hot, and took off 1 second.
Yeah, no, that's there is a factor of believability because again, stuff takes time to warm up, and if you start a ship up too fast, that can actually kind of strain the engines.
Yes.
And again, I got this information from another Star Wars comic.
I got this information from real life.
Oh, yeah, well, that's in general, but no, because there's a scene in the comic where the characters in Star Wars Legacy are being chased by a Sith, and they have to start the engines hot. And she's like, you know what that does to the engines?
Yeah.
So yes, ship technology does still work, but that even works with like regular everyday cars and whatnot.
That's kind of where I was going. Yes.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that his remodification of it was more like an old school, which he might have blew ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's face it, is Peli the most reliable mechanic?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So if he had started that thing hot, it would have started up, but he would have started having like some engine troubles at some point during the fight.
Yeah. Very much so. So I was just looking for something right now.
And the vertical takeoff immediately, that was another thing. I was like, what?
Yeah. dang. Oh, I'm not finding it at the moment. So I was going to pull up the takeoff in Top Gun Maverick.
How long does
Really?
it take? Like
Well-
a full 2-3 minutes before it's ready?
Something like that with awesome music during it.
Oh, I know. I'm just if I recall, like the way a takeoff procedure goes, there's like a bunch of pre-flight checks to make sure everything's.
It's
to
really
make
a
sure nothing's
it's really a shame that we're not
unnecessarily
getting a
loose.
Rogue. It's a really shame we're not getting a Rogue Squadron movie for some reason.
As long as it was made well, which from what Patty Jenkins did in Wonder Woman 84. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I never really finished Wonder Woman 1984 because like
It was bad.
I got so bored during it. Like it was hard. Like I don't even remember certain parts of the film because of it. I'm like okay, Steve came back, the guy became the Wish Rock, and now suddenly everybody's wishing and the world's getting all screwed up. And for
Okay.
some reason, the Batman v Superman theme was in it.
For some reason.
No, well, you know, like.
No, I know.
expect to
I'm
hear
just
the
joking
Wonder
around.
Woman theme.
Yeah,
I expect
no-
to hear the Wonder Woman theme in the movie, but like the Batman v Superman, that dun, 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 you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like for whatever reason, it was in that.
Yeah. So I didn't actually find my rip of Top Gun Maverick, which I actually do own legitimately, but I got the rip before I could get it originally. So, but anyway, I just found it on YouTube, the takeoff. So I'm going to
Nice.
share that. And
You're gonna get copyright strike for a completely different thing.
yes. I mean, I'm not monetized, so it's not like it's not like a demonetization is going to really hurt me.
So I can play the Top Gun theme in the background and you'll be good.
I might hurt you if it goes through the entire thing, because that might actually pull the entire video down. Okay. We see the stuff coming down.
Turn off the
Now, mind
music.
Now, mind you, this is actually from YouTube, so
I know, but you don't want to get copyright struck for the music, so
I don't
off
care
the
too much about it, because like I said, I'm not monetized.
Paramount may not be that too much hostile of copyright abuse.
Well,
If anything, this is just free advertisement from their movie in the middle of a Star Wars stream. So
Uh-huh. I mean, frankly, Top Gun Maverick made me think about the original Rogue Squadron book.
Wedge
I
Antilles,
would love
Wedge
to.
Antilles,
Also, I
West
would like
Jansen,
to get
Foreign Horn,
started reading.
Taiko
reading the
Selku.
book. I would like to start reading the book with you at some point.
Oh, the that's right, because CT has he has which X-wing books do you have?
I have like, hold on, I'm trying. Let me.
I was asking CT. I know you have them, Net.
Well, that means that all my friends should have them if they want them. Just saying.
No, because CT CT's been getting the trade paperbacks of the X-wing books.
Yeah.
I think he has up to Isard's Revenge.
I have the X-wing of the first one, the X-wing Rogue Squadron, and
Yep.
You have Wedge's Gamble.
Wedge's Gamble, yes. The
Krytos Trap.
Yeah.
Back to War.
Yeah, I also have that.
Okay, so you have the first 4 stack pulls. Do you have Wraith Squadron?
Yeah.
Iron Fist?
I believe so.
Solo Command?
I'm going on top of my head here.
Now I was just talking about get the books off your shelf.
Okay. Well, let me go grab them then. I need to get off my ass.
Dagger 4.
Get off my ass.
And then we see them get ready to taxi.
pre-flight check, making sure everything's hot.
Yep.
Now you start. Okay.
So yeah.
No, there's at least like 2 to 3 minutes alone just to make sure everything's warmed up and ready before they even consider launching.
Now, mind you, if they'd actually left R5 in the astromech bubble when Grogu left with Bo-Katan, that could have actually fixed that, because that could have been an R5, get it prepped.
Yeah. you have Din
and then
Bo
R5
fly
could
for
have
a
been flipping
while.
the switches and everything, so all Mando had to do was literally jump in and go. But no,
Well,
R5 was
you have
with
Din
them.
and Bo fly for a while to distract.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, who's going to notice an R5?
Yeah, because it's just there as part of it.
I didn't even think about that. Fuck. Yeah, no, that. Yeah, they really that's clever writing if you actually send the droid in first to make sure everything's prepped.
Well, what I'm saying is, why did the droid even come with Bo-Katan in the first place?
Should have stayed with the ship.
Why didn't R5 just stay in the N1?
He wanted to make sure his new master was safe. I don't know.
Yeah,
like Grogu had a stake in it.
and Grogu was needed to lead.
Yeah, again, Grogu had a stake in it. Grogu knew where it was. So what? She asked the droid for directions because Grogu couldn't offer them well enough.
But the droid didn't go with to the point where the problem was. That's why Grogu had to run back, and R5 was already at the ship, which could then fly him away because it was ready. So why was the droid with Bo and not staying with the N1?
I don't know.
Yeah, and that would have fixed this entire problem if it stayed with the ship like it should have. Because then pre-flight taken care of. Mando, all that needed was for Mando to jump into the cockpit and go, because the astromech would have had it all pre-flighted for him.
Yep, that was
I believe me. I see your point.
Yeah,
that was Homer Simpson. Go.
Yep. It's almost like they wrote the second episode, filmed the entire episode, and then went, okay, let's write the third episode. Because then they went, oh shit, it might have been good for us to have actually left R5 there, but it's too late. We've already filmed it. Like we talk about, planning is not exactly Disney's best.
You can't see it right now, but I'm shaking my head in disappointment.
Yeah. So yeah, the N1 is apparently able to be pre-flighted everything within about a second from a dead stop.
And a vertical takeoff too.
Yeah.
I mean, immediate. It's like,
yeah, like that.
I mean, he didn't even he barely waited for the canopy to fall before he went into a vertical.
Yeah.
So the fight scene. So yeah, the fight scene's kind of boring, kind of disappointing. The ability to get into the ship makes no freaking sense.
No.
It just started up without a moment's hesitation. Makes no freaking sense.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't even think I think even Han Solo knew when he had to blast the Falcon out of Mos Eisley in A New Hope that he was like, yeah, this is gonna fuck with the ship a little.
and you also see him in the cockpit flipping switches like a madman, but before or the engine fully warmed up and they were out of there, and then you saw it lumber out of there.
Yeah, I did notice there was a lot of shaking even before the Star Destroyer started attacking.
Yep. So yeah, this is the part that I was bitching about, that both of them are just like, oh, everything's fine. Just shields. You? This is
Yeah,
bad.
no. To tell you the truth, and I find it more believable with the Falcon than with the N1. Han talks about how he made special modifications. So he could have put something in the Falcon so that he could do a hot start without it screwing up the engines.
Actually,
I don't see that.
There's 3 android brains in the Falcon, by the way. That's why they don't need an astromech.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Even then, I don't Let's say there was a device you could use that would and any heat that would have damaged the engine was immediately vented or something. I can't see a large version of that device put into an N1 starfighter.
Yeah.
I can see that in a ship like the Millennium Falcon because it's got breathing room. But
let's never forget that that's a freaking freighter.
Starfighter.
The Millennium Falcon is a freaking freighter.
Yeah, no. Again,
it's got room
because it's a freighter. Because it's a freighter, it's got breathing room.
Yeah, no, I was agreeing with you there. Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard to attach something so that you could do a hot start. Flip switches, start the ship up, and normally that would damage a ship's engines. But whatever tech Han had installed probably vented it before it could even be a problem. That same problem can't necessarily apply. I think even Bo-Katan's Gauntlet could probably have that tech installed because it's a larger ship.
Yeah.
For a hot start. But I can't see that for a starfighter.
And even if somebody made the assumption that, well, maybe he's got tech in there that he can push buttons on his wrist and do a quick pre-flight check, but then why do you need an astromech if you have that kind of tech in there in the first place? So it's kind of like a grasping at straws explanation.
Yeah. Well, the whole point of the astromech is to get things started for you. To get things started for you, pre-flight checks.
That's one of the things that it does. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of
other
things.
Also, we've already gone through the whole hyperdrive explanation.
Basically, think of the astromech as a very high-tech co-pilot. There's a reason why you have co-pilots, because one of you is flying and the other one is doing the tedious shit.
Yeah. Well, even the airspeeders on Hoth had a co-pilot in the back. He wasn't just a
you mean snow speeders? Yeah.
He wasn't just like the back snow speeder gunner. He actually handled some of the back problems too that you can't.
Yep.
But he says, "Luke, we got a malfunction in fire control. I have to cut the auxiliary."
Yeah. So yeah, so the point that I was just making here was that this is them saying, let's just take him in just to be sure, as both of them are saying, I'm fine, you're fine. Let's take him in just to be sure, as if those 5 interceptors are all that they have to worry about.
No, you do a pre-flight scan and check before you even think about that.
Yeah, and they should
make sure there's no more bogeys in your sky.
They should know that there is an incoming cruiser of some type. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do about a cruiser coming in, though.
Run. But what I'm saying is that they should be tense and going and not going, let's just land just to be sure when both of us are saying we're fine. No, you should be going,
I get
it. They should be going, what's coming? And going, okay, where should we go?
To tell you the truth, yeah, that's one that should have crossed their minds. 2, it would have been a lot better aesthetically if they had a cruiser bomb her palace from orbit instead of TIE bombers.
Also, why didn't her palace have defenses?
it's run by droids. It should have some automated defenses.
Yeah. So I was actually thinking another thing is that isn't it convenient that she was called away to help Din, so she wasn't in this crappy ass palace that had no defenses and be bombed.
So you just wait, Nat. You'll see someone make the argument. Well, she didn't have time to warn her droids to start off defensive systems. I'm like,
to be honest, my counter to it is that not that she could have saved the palace, but if she was in the palace, she probably would have gotten the alert that they were coming and run to her gauntlet and gotten out of there in time. But still, the idea that she had nothing installed. What?
oh no, that was background. Go ahead.
But yeah, the idea that she had nothing installed as defenses is just insane. Not even that she would have installed them, but that they would have been installed by her family, because I'm assuming this is her ancestral home.
Yeah, and her family, again, because her family comes from royalty, the whole Duchess of Mandalore, she should have automated defenses.
Yes.
Yeah, what happened?
So anybody trying to make the argument, well, she didn't have time to start them up, I'm like, do you not lock your door when you leave your house?
Put your alarm on?
Or set up an alarm system?
Yeah.
The basic motto to discourage intruders. If that's the case, if she literally left her palace with the defense system off and the door unlocked, I'm like, anybody can just come into your house and assassinate you.
Yep.
Or do what those TIE fighters did and just completely blow it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So clearly,
and
for whatever reason, a rich, powerful monarch from a Mandalorian moon didn't have automated defense systems.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, in case you're curious, there are no restrictions put on the video, so no copyright.
Nice.
So yeah. So yeah, what the hell here? Like I said, why are you dumb?
Well, even though I had problems with the previous episodes, logic issues, I still kind of enjoyed the episodes. I thought, that was okay. That was all right. This one, I'm just because I was already kind of disappointed with it, every logistical error here that I'm kind of finding out about, it's just making the episode worse now. I didn't think I could be more disappointed in this episode. I was wrong.
I did say that the parts of this episode that I liked were the parts that Din and Bo were not in. You did catch that, right?
Yeah, I remember. Sorry.
So yeah, even though I'm the one that was going, I liked it overall. Yeah, the fact that I'm kind of ripping this apart is yeah. It's still consistent with what I said.
Bombed and they flee.
Yep. And Din says, "Follow me."
And this was all. The whole thing was set up for Bo-Katan to follow Din Djarin and be welcomed into his clan. Basically.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna fast forward to the clan ending and then come back to the Dr. Pershing stuff.
Yep, that's what I was just doing. So yeah, they land. He tells her that she'd be better off leaving her helmet on. So yeah.
Maybe this is just me, and maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I feel like these guys are trying to vilify religion in general and not just extremist cults.
It comes off very atheistic. Yes.
Yeah. Well. Here's the thing. No joke. In the Christian faith, there is a thing that Christians do called passing the peace.
Right.
Yep.
And Catholics too.
Yeah, Catholics do it
Catholics
too.
are Christians. Thank you very much.
Okay. So let me get. So you know what passing the peace is, right, Net?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Peace
so
be
I don't
with
need
you.
to explain. All right, so for the average viewer who is not religious, passing the peace is like, where the pastor or priest tells the congregation to greet one another,
Yep.
and they usually say something akin to like, peace of Christ be with you and with your spirit, like that sort of thing, And it's just a general greeting to keep people together in a community.
Yeah.
Now, the way they seem to be portraying it is that now that they consider her part of the club, basically, suddenly everybody's doing like there's a literal passing of the peace moment where they're all whispering and patting each other on the shoulder.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
So I couldn't stop laughing at that part. I'm like, oh my god, they're having a passing of. I'm like, I thought He-Man, or not He-Man, but Masters of the Universe Revelations was lacked subtlety in what it was trying to do. This one, again, it has the subtlety of an airplane flying directly over your house.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Which is a good thing or a bad thing also?
Bad.
A bad thing, because they're basically saying, like, at the top of their lungs, like, your religion is bad. All religion is bad, basically.
Your religion is bad and all religion is bad?
Yeah. You should believe in our religion, which is blind control government, that sort of thing. But
that's the subtext, at least.
Yeah. Like, all religions are cults and all religions are bad, basically. That's kind of the vibe I got I'm like, wow, these guys are not trying at all to hide their disdain for religion in general. I'm like, okay.
They also don't hide their disdain for governments either, which we'll get to in the middle part of the episode.
Yeah.
So these people just hate structure then. Any form of community togetherness or structure, they seem to hate with a passion.
I mean, Mandalorians or
he's talking about the writers.
Oh, the writers.
I mean, it really falls in line with the Summer of Love.
Yeah, it's a social construct. It's a construct.
Or are we talking about the cultish behavior of Mandalorians here? Like, you can't remove your helmet.
We're talking about the way we're talking about the way that the Death Watch Mandalorians have been characterized by people like Bo-Katan and what they've shown us, because we're not supposed to think that the Death Watch are anything other than a cult. So when we see the cult doing something, it's being put automatically in a bad light.
Well, here's the thing.
It's also equated with religion itself.
My only problem with this particular group of Mandalorians is the helmet rule, because they seem to be very respectful of like honor, traditions of the past, that sort of thing. The helmet rule seems to be the only like really stupid thing.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn stupid. It's so stupid.
I'm like, sometimes like a religion changes for the better, because like, in the past, Catholics slaughtered Protestants, or Romans that believed in like mythological gods. They slaughtered early Catholics.
Yeah.
So, like, religions change. They don't always like fucking kill each other. They get reformed, saying, this isn't the best way to bring people to our faith. Let's try being nicer now.
Yeah.
Let's try actually reading all of our writings and adhering to the truth of our writings, instead of going off half-cocked and misinterpreting everything and twisting.
There's an old
yeah.
There's I hate to use this language, even though I've been using it the entire time, but like, there's an old Patton Oswalt joke.
Oh God.
Yeah, he talked about, like, he's like, religion was like, actually one of man's greatest inventions, because like the ancient cavemen, they were like, hey, I'm gonna have rape for breakfast,
Yeah.
and like basically the whole point of religion was like, it's like, if you're a good person, you get sky cake.
Mm-hmm.
And then other religions started coming up with sky pie and sky cookies, and like, no, it's sky cake.
And Sky Virgins.
and then God, and then someone said, hey, you can have this and this and this, like you can have sky pie, sky cookies, and sky cake. Nail that guy to a fucking cross. Like that's again, I get that that in the past, like, people had religious holy wars, but like even religious people grow out of that. They're like,
Yeah.
Our past was a little too extreme. We're trying to be better people.
Yeah, I know, but it seems like
But
society.
for some reason, the government seems to, the government, or even like modern writers seem to think that religions can't get out of bloody past or something.
Yeah. And now I'm going to attempt to lose my to get copyrighted again.
Okay.
Because I found the actual scene, the actual takeoff scene I wanted to show.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Let's see here. Yep, that's it. Okay. We see them on the carrier here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very slow takeoff.
Yep. And this is for a very fast aircraft.
Yeah, and you also kind of notice that, like, because there's so many of these crafts on the carrier, they have to kind of guide it and drive it to the right direction so it doesn't hit anything else.
Yep.
I'm picking up that detail. Don't worry.
And this is what I love about this. It's all this detail. But then they have somebody just go in and just hop into their top of the line starfighter and just go off. How about some nuance?
Huh.
I mean, wouldn't that be nice?
No, I get it. Like the way that the episode is written, with
and right
jumping
there,
into his ship, it's half cocked, and
Yeah.
it makes no sense logically that it could happen.
Mm-hmm. I know that he's not doing takeoff from an aircraft carrier, which is a specifically interesting thing. But even when they showed them getting ready to take off from Yavin 4, I think it was, they showed them needing to actually do pre-flight shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, even like when a ship has like a landing zone, and like the landing zone is mostly clear,
Mm-hmm.
like there's like no obstacles or anything, they still do the pre-flight checks and they lift off the ground slowly.
Yeah.
A starship in like a most experience, like the starship lifts off the ground slowly,
Which is
wants
used
to make sure there's no obstacles.
Which also, by the way, is using the repulsor lift engine, not the actual engine that's going to be flying.
Yep.
By the way,
Exactly.
Net, I think if you also remember the detail in the Phantom Menace,
Mm-hmm.
when that Naboo ship took off from Tatooine,
Yep.
it takes off slowly.
Yes, it does.
And it takes off very slowly, just long enough so that it takes a double. It kind of takes a double result, because they're taking off slowly so Qui-Gon has enough time to get on board, but they're also taking off slowly to make sure that the ship, like, because they just freshly bought a new hyperdrive,
Yeah.
that it doesn't crash and burn right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then after Qui-Gon leaves, because they've had time to build up, they pretty much tell him punch it.
Yeah.
How about redoing the scene where he jettisons out. He gets into the cockpit, and the interceptor is bearing down on him. How about hit the quick checklist and activate the weapon system and blow that shit out of the air while you're still getting hot, and then
that's not how it works logically. Logically, he should have sent the droid out first to do the pre-flight checks and get the ship warmed up.
But that would have been more believable. But
we're working with what we have right now. Is what your dad's saying.
Yeah, that would have been a little more believable.
Well, I'm telling you, that's the only believable way it would have worked, because any other way, like, you can't just start up the ship and have the guns like hot right away.
Yeah,
even that needs power and uptime.
There we go. And now we've launched in a straight line, not up.
Yeah. Well, again, starships do fly up.
I know, but like your dad was saying, how quickly it did the 90-degree boing.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying it can't do it. It's just it takes a little bit of time, not just instant blink.
Not even SpaceX rockets take off that fast because you have things called propulsion and all that. You have a lot of factors there. The kinetics, propulsion, inertia. I mean,
but by the way, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be rewatching Top Gun Maverick once we're done with this stream.
Nice. I kind of like, to be honest with you, I kind of like the way that Babylon 5 starts its ships, and it's not just because I've been watching it recently with Annihilus.
Oh, of course, that's the reason.
Well, here's the thing. They have the ships all started up, ready to go, but they have clamps on them, and then they release the clamps. So when the ship drops out, they're already hot and good to go.
That's actually pretty cool because they're always prepped.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, obviously, Dad, before the fighters launch, they do all the necessary pre-flight checks, but the ship is all hot and ready to go before it even launches out of the bay, and then they open the bays, have it clamped out, and then just let go of the clamps so that the ship just drops right away to where it needs to fly into its particular pattern.
Just drops right into space and then takes off once
Again,
it clears.
still using logic and vectors, basically.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that a lot of people don't get when hearing when hearing criticism about the stuff. It's not that we're saying that everything needs to follow 100% our physical reality. It's that there are certain things that you grant as a leap of faith, because we know that can't actually happen. But then once you accept the things that are different from our world, to make that believable, it needs to then work the way that it would work if that were possible.
And it has to be a consistency.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing.
It's called
here's where I agree with you, Nat. Like, if it's something religious,
the term for it is actually called verisimilitude.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
And now go.
Here's the thing. If it's something religious, not necessarily easily explained, like miracle, magic, whatever, I can understand why that would take some level of believability, like unbelievability to it. But when it comes to something like normally logical, like a plane falling apart or something like that, naturally you need to kind of explain that a little bit.
That's actually what I was trying to say. That once we accept the leap of faith, that we need to accept, and to make those acceptable to have, everything else needs to work. The more that you,
I can barely hear you through my dad.
Yeah. The more that you ask the viewer to buy, the more everything else has to make sense according to what we expect.
Yeah. And we're not expecting a lot. We're just expecting basic logic.
Yeah. But that's just a general thing of writing. Like I said, it's called. I believe it's called verisimilitude. That that the world feels real given what we need to accept.
Well, it's like it's like a guy calling somebody else on a cell phone, but he's never had the guy's number listed in his phone or contacts once.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how the hell is that possible then? How did he even call the guy?
Yep.
I know it's kind of a basic interpretation, but that's kind of the way I see logic when it comes to just general reasonable explanations. Things that aren't not things that are hard to explain, things that are very easy to explain.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Now back to the ending of this particular of this. I do kind of like that Bo-Katan accidentally, quote unquote, redeemed herself. If it was better writers, I would give them a little bit of props for that because it's not like she was trying to. She just kind of accidentally had it happen. But I don't but I don't like praising competent writing.
Well, it's almost like you ever seen the show Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Like 1 or 2 episodes.
It's kind of like a Larry David situation where like she wasn't intending to do that, but that's what happens. So they really should have ended this episode with the Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Well, I guess she's redeemed and part of the clan now.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit strange how that happened all of a sudden. I mean,
yeah.
I think they planned her to be part of, the true Mandalorians, and again, I'm using air quotations.
Mm-hmm.
Because they mentioned that the Mandalorians, their ancestors, always stayed in their armor, and I'm like, the fuck they did. Not even the Tong were the original. Which, speaking of Tong, anybody else got the Tong's Day thing?
Yeah. Honestly, if I hadn't seen your answer to CT, I wouldn't have known the reason for it being Tong. But the way that I saw, but the way that I saw / would have seen it without that was one of the things that Star Wars has always done is try to divorce it a little bit from our day to day. So they do things where I don't think you're ever going to hear them call a day Wednesday or Monday.
Right.
They'd have so. If you're going to do the trope of Tuesdays, right? They're going to change it, and this isn't just Disney. It would be original Lucasfilm as well.
Oh yeah, no. Well, there's some things that are pretty much constants. Like for example, in the old Lando books, Lando smokes like blue cigars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he does technically call them cigars, or some people call them cigara. Basically, it's a stick full of like some sort of space tobacco that you smoke, basically.
Yeah.
The only constant I can think of is hot chocolate. Hot chocolate is one of the things in Star Wars that has never really changed. The fact that hot chocolate exists.
They call it hot chocolate.
Luke Skywalker loves hot chocolate.
But isn't there a little bit of a name for it, like chocolate calf or something? Or is it?
Oh no! If you're talking about coffee in Star Wars, they call that calf.
Yeah, but I could have sworn that there was that there was another name for the hot chocolate, even though it was definitely hot chocolate.
No, they pretty much just called it hot chocolate.
Okay, then I'm happy to be wrong on that. I just thought that I remembered something.
No, there's some things that they explain as like, okay, this is clearly like, from like based from like original lore stuff.
Yeah.
Where they weren't making stuff up, where they were talking about like, day-to-day. Obviously they can't call they can't call regular alcohol in Star Wars beer, so they call it ale. Like it's an old-timey
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. The
Okay,
convert.
now we can get to the
First on.
Dr. Pershing and
And the officer. I keep forgetting her name.
Well, they kind of refer to her as G36, which is
Yeah, but she does have a name that they do tell us later on. It's
like
something that starts
Aaliyah or
with an E.
something like that.
Yeah.
And I had a terrifying theory, and when I brought it up to somebody, they said, "No way they're doing that." I'm like, I hope to God they're not doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, what is that?
That this lady might be the Emperor's hand.
You mean as in Mara?
Yeah, that terrifies me. If again, this is just my theory.
Mm-hmm. Well, as far as that goes, remember that there were multiple hands, so it doesn't.
Oh yeah, of course.
And so not necessarily Mara herself, but
we're talking about the the old EU when it comes to multiple hands in Disney canon. Like the only dark side Force users under Palpatine were the Inquisitors.
Yep.
There was no prophets of the dark side. There was no
So I'm trying to understand.
Dark Jedi.
I'm trying to understand. An Emperor's hand is different from an Inquisitor, essentially, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because an Emperor's hand directs works covert missions directly under the Emperor.
And nobody but the Emperor gives her commands.
Right, but doesn't that? But well, I mean, it's different from an Imperial Inquisitor. That is
the Inquisitors
An Inquisitor takes orders from Vader or the Emperor.
The
works
Inquisitors
very close
were
with ISB.
Not you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Inquisitors were an actual organization from what it looked like in Kenobi. Right? Because they talked about the first one. They had meetings and stuff. The hands, I'm not even sure that the hands necessarily knew who the other hands were.
Yeah, no.
I actually think that Mara Jade thought that she was the only hand, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no, she did, because most of the hands were unaware of the others.
Yeah, so CT is asking, that's different from the Inquisitors. The Inquisitors were in the open and knew, and there was, and they were doing their shit.
They were.
Well, I'm just explaining the difference. The Emperor's hands think more like spies. Saboteurs,
more like spies under
assassins. Assassins, spies, saboteurs.
That only speaks to Emperor Palpatine, really.
Yeah, the Inquisitors were First Order, which was a sect under the command. So their specific tasks were to seek out Jedi and Force users and destroy them, whereas in the Emperor's hands are covert. Unattached to one another and report directly to the Emperor, so they're more military and espionage than
and political.
And political.
Because she go for people that would have nothing to do with Force. It was basically another way you might think of it might be his fixer. You see a problem. And you send the Emperor sends his hand to fix it. That might be the best way to think of a hand.
Yeah, well, it's also if you don't want the problem to become public.
Well,
that's when you send a hand.
Yeah, you see a problem, you want to fix it before it becomes a big one.
Yeah, and again, Inquisitors, they primarily worked and I learned this from Coruscant Knights in The Last Jedi. Inquisitors primarily worked with ISB.
Like I said,
they're basically like the Dark Force user division of ISB.
Yeah,
people know their whole job was hunting and tracking, Jedi and Force users.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of like the KGB.
Yeah, kind of. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he had other dark side users like the prophets of the dark side that he would use to see visions so that he could subvert the Force if it tried to strike back against him. And then he had his royal guard, who was actually Force trained group.
Yeah.
I'm going by old EU. I'm not going by Disney canon, which has
I know.
has the Dark Force users limited literally to just Inquisitors, Vader, and Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ISB were counter intel, and the elite spies were intel, and the hands were covert, separated, and disavowed.
Yep.
And ISB used the Dark Force of First Order, which became First Order later, to take care of things that they couldn't take care of.
And the Emperor's hands would tend to use more of the mental sort of force persuasion stuff.
Wait, there's a First Order and Legends here?
No, there isn't. My dad's getting his info mixed up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I know it's not from Legends. I think I'm just thinking about the game, and anyways, it's other stuff in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, whatever you think about, this is a pretty scene here. At least I think it is.
Oh, here's one good thing I can say about the episode. It's the one thing I can say about it. The Coruscant traffic is finally accurate again.
Yep.
Because anybody who's seen the prequels knows that the traffic is nonstop on Coruscant, all day, all night, cars going. Now you can make the excuse that during the time of the Empire, because the traffic is very light in Andor. So you can make the excuse that, there's Imperial checkpoints everywhere, so, not everybody can afford a sky car or, can access, can fly around a lot now because of all the checkpoints and IDs and whatnot. So I'll let that one go.
And one sec, I want to interject something in there from real life. The 15-minute cities. Where,
oh my god!
Where they want to make it so that you can't go outside that 15-minute. Now, under Disney, maybe the Empire was actually doing the 15-minute cities.
Maybe, yeah. But the part I can't let it go was in the Kenobi show.
Mm-hmm.
When that scene when Obi-Wan is training Anakin, like Saber. The traffic is so minimal, and you can't make the excuse that it's early, so not a lot of the cars are going. I'm like, it's the prequel era. Cars are going all day and all night.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic never stops on Coruscant.
Yeah, public transit. You've got tourists, all that stuff.
Yep.
Huge transports, little ships, even little sky cars. The whole point is that the traffic is always, other than the time of the Empire, traffic was nonstop, always going.
Yeah.
This is the first time they've gotten it accurate.
I also like
right here.
I also like the shot of the Opera House. That's really cool. The Opera House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get to see that. We see this really talented doctor explaining about how the research that he was doing that he thought would be so good under the Empire, or would be able to save people from heart failure and all these good things. So to me, I was expecting them to be in the lab and be like, oh, okay, we're not doing nothing for war, nothing like that. But here's the stuff that you say you want to do to help us, to help the people. Go do your thing. That's what you think that they would do, right?
Yeah.
And
what do they do?
I mentioned this in the pre-chat before we started. Based on what Dr. Pershing wants to do, you could actually write an entire Star Wars novel based on his entire concept of being able to, successfully clone, organs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so basically, Pershing is like really good at cloning. He can perfectly clone a heart, a kidney, a lung, even a hand. And even you could even have Luke in the book and have Luke consider the prospect of replacing his metallic hand for an absolute clone copy of what he had before.
Right. They're organic material, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, you don't even have to involve the Empire in this book because there's companies that make prosthetics.
Yeah.
Like the robotic hands, robotic arms, artificial hearts and kidneys, and
Yeah.
basically their profit margin would be threatened by what
Yeah.
Dr. Pershing is doing. So you could write a whole plot line of like corporate espionage, like people from the corporate sector, we got to take this guy out because he's going to cost us money. You could make that an actual storyline, and as a compromise, and it would be like a justifiable reason why Luke couldn't get his hand replaced.
Yeah.
Organ rejection. Because organs don't always take.
Yeah. But if you use a complete genetic copy of your own genes, your own DNA, you completely forego all that stuff, the anti-rejection meds and stuff. But also,
no, Dad, even no science is perfect. No science is perfect. So people would, at the end of the day, people would still need prosthetics because their organs would be rejected or they couldn't afford the organ treatment.
Right. But in this case, they would take healthy subjects and they would clone the organs that might encounter failure or has the highest statistics of failure, and they would clone all those, and they would keep those in some kind of a suspended state. So if they lost a hand,
you're missing what I'm saying here.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm following the line of reasoning here. But I mean, not to mention, the whole thing of cloning is outlawed right now through the Senate anyway. But he's proposing
which makes no fucking sense.
And all research into it.
Right.
Yeah.
All research into it.
This show is going out of its way to make the public look like fucking idiots.
Yeah. Especially with the android he has to check in with. Like they can't spare a person to sit down with this guy.
No, that's completely cold, clinical type.
It's
their way of trying to make not even a good government.
They're making it look like they're just as bad as the Empire.
That's exactly what they're doing. Yes.
Yeah, and let's not even forget the fact that the people who left the Empire aren't named; they're numbered.
Yeah.
Just like the Empire did. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, they're segregating them.
When they were talking about them by their numbers, I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's a segregation, and they're vetting them. That's why they're vetting them.
I'm not even just talking about the segregation because most of the people, they're.
But each of them had to talk to each other by their name, by their letter and number designation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even say, "Hey, I'm Dave," or "Hey, I'm Jane," or "Hey, I'm Brian." No, it's "Hey, 532. How are you?"
They're doing that.
That's kind of what I meant about it being dystopian or something.
Yeah.
No, it is definitely dystopian.
Yeah, they make the New Republic beat the Empire with just new clothing.
Yeah.
It's the Empire, but polite. And
it's
you brought this up in the pre-chat too. The brainwashing machine.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Because the scientists, I know what this is. I know what you're doing. I know what this is.
So we're not gonna talk about it right now. We'll get to it when we get to it. But
yeah.
Oh my God! They are going out of their way to make the New Republic look incompetent or as dark and utilitarian as the Empire.
Cartoonishly evil and incompetent at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going about it lazily, is what they are. They put them into a section where they can keep an eye on them. It's minimal. It's like minimal security, just enough to keep tags on them, and then they report to an android, and it gets recorded and all that stuff. And they probably have bio things to read if they're honest or not. That way, they don't have to spend any extra time with these people, but yet they can virtue signal that they're embracing people from the Empire that want to.
Yeah, no,
leave.
this is not a government. This is a
Yeah.
joke.
And
Yeah.
take a look at the screen that I just put up. They literally say what they're going for.
Yeah.
Empire, Rebels, New Republic. I can't keep track. Ooh.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're so brave to leave the Empire. Did you see how many of these people like sucking up the Doctor's fart?
Yeah, and
Also, one of those
sucking up their own
politicians
parts.
said that they could have been drafted, but they obviously, what do they mean that they could have been drafted into a military service? They don't look like they would be in that position if they're wealthy or.
They're basically they're implying that the series seems to be implying that everything you fought for was for nothing.
yeah,
Because the rich and powerful are still the rich and powerful, and they face no censure.
Yeah.
Why did Luke and Leia and Han and Chewie and all of them sacrifice so much to get rid of the Empire? If
To
we just
restore
get-
a republic that was just as shitty as the Empire.
Yeah,
It's basically an oligarchy. It's basically an oligarchy.
yeah.
You know.
And whereas this is a possibility, it is a bleak possibility. And Star Wars is supposed to be hopeful. It's not
Yeah.
supposed to. I mean, there could be times where your hopes get dashed and you get pre-realism involved. But the overall themes, it's supposed to be hopeful and make it so that the original trilogy, which started all of this, is no longer. It is no longer hopeful because why did we do this all? All of our sacrifices were in vain.
Right.
Yeah, no, it redefines the sacrifice of the original trilogy, turns it from being about hope to being about complacency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is a reflection of the revisionist thing that's going on in real life.
Really?
Yeah. Everything's
Seems likely.
it's everything. It's like they're trying to change everything that's already been established, and that and let's face it, there's a lot of new fans that do not have the intellectual capacity to remember a lot of the stuff, so they just discount it, and that's why you have the canon change.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and so when I say that I like the stuff in this middle part, that's not saying that I like it as even Star Wars. I like it as its own thing, but the way that it invalidates the OT makes me pissed. And frankly, this kind of shows with almost some mask off stuff, the sort of politics that the writers in place have, because they're definitely making political statements, like real life political statements, not just Star Wars political statements.
Like
this
what
episode.
exactly?
Well, like governments all being bad. I mean, that's one of them because I mean,
they don't exactly seem to say that all governments are bad if they're the ones in charge here.
No. You're not understanding. We're saying that the Empire is the same as the New Republic. New Republic is the same as the Empire. We get rid of one. We topple the bad government, and the only thing that comes from it is another bad government. How is that not playing with a sledgehammer? That's saying exactly
Everything
what
Luke,
these
Han,
people.
and Leia fought for in the original trilogy is meaningless because the government is just as shit as the Empire.
Yeah. So to me, this really is showing the political biases of the writers. When I say keep politics out of my Star Wars, this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. I'm not talking about keep politics out because I can't handle there being political things. I love the prequels. God damn it! I love the political machinations. It's awesome. But those political machinations weren't trying to make social commentary on the real world.
Or the social comments were at the time they were being released.
Yeah, as in the writers making the commentary, not people using it after the fact. Do you see the difference?
It seems to me that it seems to me the more I think about it, that almost every aspect of what's coming out of any kind of media or print, any kind of movies, anything like that, it just seems like it's all ran through a committee that will approve or disapprove, and they say what you should say and what you shouldn't say. That's what it seems like to me. It's like a resounding message, a talking point. Like even though subtle, it hits you like a hammer if you're a critical thinker.
Yeah, you mean like I was just doing?
Yep.
Yeah. But no, re. And yeah, Yivo, it was allegory, not commentary. You're right for the originals, because there was actual things that he was referencing, but he wasn't saying what was good or bad in the movie itself. But he was drawing from real life conflicts.
Yeah, and then by the way that they put the story together and the way that they lay it out as far as editing, it's almost like if you didn't know what was going on, you wouldn't realize that it's a complete globalistic virtual signaling one world WEF type shit, and it's equating all people driven, constitutional, democratic, we the people type of governments as evil as Nazis.
Yeah.
So the New Republic is supposed to be the criticism of we the people republic or like government.
Yeah, it's what it's doing is it's interpreting a true democracy or a free society, maybe a democratic republic type society, because we are talking about the republic. And even though their tenets and everything are pure, it's interpreting the New Republic to be just as corrupt, if not more corrupt, than the empire that they got replaced.
Yeah, because there's also something insidious about the people who are actually telling you that they're the good guys, is then brainwashing people to make sure that they're on their side. And because at least with the Empire, they weren't claiming we're the good guys most of the time.
Yeah, and when you think about what they're doing, they're putting all the groups from their former enemies in basic internment housing, and they're sending them through re-education programs, as if.
And they incentivize snitches.
Yes, as if actually a free society, a democratic republic, is actually terrible and horrible, and we should have something better. And that's basically a bunch of oligarchs with socialism.
Yeah.
You know, what? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm trying to. I lost my train of thought there for a sec because I wasn't sure if you guys could hear me. I didn't realize I had my mic muted. But
yeah, I thought you did that on purpose. Sorry.
I did because my brother came in, but I unmuted just now. The way it's portraying things, you know what? I'll come back when I get the thought again.
Okay. So yeah, isn't this shot of the droid not looking in front of it while it's driving kind of disturbing? Which Pershing Which Pershing himself got disturbed by that too. It's like look forward. Because I mean, maybe the cars drive itself, but if the cars drive itself, why is the droid there? And if the
I remembered something I wanted to say.
Drive, then why isn't it looking?
I remember something I wanted to say.
Okay, go ahead.
It's interesting to me though that like a lot of Star Wars fans like they'll believe conspiracy theories that exist in Star Wars, but when an actual conspiracy theory happens in real life, they want to deny it up and down,
Yeah,
as to
that
say
or
that like this
that.
cannot happen in real life. I'm like, dude,
unless it's
have you been paying attention?
unless it supports their warped sense of value.
hmm But not even necessarily just that. Just also people who aren't having what you're referring there. That people want to believe that that there aren't conspiracies, that things are simple, and that things only get this complicated in fiction. That is something that is a very comforting thought in a lot of ways. So it doesn't really matter if we're talking about someone being on whatever side of the aisle. It really is just a, a comforting thing that you have to work to get out of because
It's
yeah.
it's bullshit though because safety and security are a lie.
Oh, I know.
It's a uniparty. There is no side of the aisle anymore. It's a uniparty and people that are patriots. That's it.
Eh,
Right.
that's more of a nuanced discussion that I want to get into. We'll talk about Star Wars. Mm.
Well, I
I agree. I agree.
Sure.
I
What
certainly
about
have thoughts on
what
that,
about
but I'm
talking
not.
about liking stuff from Disney though?
Yeah, but we're talking about more political, real life political United States government shit. And that's what I'm saying. Let's not.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Well, here's a thought. Here's a thought. Here's a thought. When you have differing opinions and there's a lot of passions on these opinions, and you don't want to outright make people do things and make them, what's a better way to uh, filter in things and control the flow of things to make things look like they're normal and simple by every single mass media, everything that we see, movies, is moving in that one general direction, and there's nobody saying, "Oh, this isn't right." In everything we see, all the media, all our news sources, everything. And what better way to do it?
I swear, you're trying to get me in trouble. Because these are topics that I tend to try to avoid.
No, I understand, but I'm just thinking. I mean, if you were going to do something
Yes, take control of the media, and that is what you need to do to make sure that the populace believes what they're told. That is what you're trying to say.
It's like a mass psychosis with frosting on top.
Yeah. So yeah, now that we've done that foray into politics, that if I get too much to talk about, I could piss some viewers mightily off.
Sorry.
There's a reason I don't talk about politics much on my channel.
Well, I mean, we are talking about Star Wars, right?
Yeah. Right, of course.
Star Wars is technically political.
I mean, everyone tells me that.
Yeah.
So they come here, they have a drink, which which leads you to think that this is an informal group and gathering, which would make you think that we'd be introducing each other with our names because it's informal making friends, right?
Yeah, shouldn't they? Yeah, like I get like how in public they have to refer to you as designation number for, and you'd expect that from machines, not from real life individuals.
Or even the people in the jobs because there may be weird ass rules for the workplace, but this is just a social gathering.
Yeah, they should be able to say names.
Yeah, and all of them just act like it's completely normal, which is like, oh dear lord. So yeah, and each of them are trying to say what they miss, but but at the same time, they're trying to avoid say that we actually miss it. What one wonders how many of these people have already hit the brainwash machine.
The fact that they're comfortable with numbers and names makes me think they've already been hit with a brainwash machine.
Yeah. And Officer is okay with the numbers and names because she's actually completely playing the system. So she's fine with it because she just sees herself as being undercover. At least that's how I see it.
And you say you didn't want to talk about politics.
How is that about
Her,
how's
her
that
being
politics?
undercover just makes her a team player, basically. Like,
Yeah, that's nothing about politics. That's just saying that that's what she's doing. And I didn't say I didn't want to talk about politics. I said I didn't want to talk about real world politics.
Are we gonna be Are we gonna be ending this stream though? It's kind of getting very long here.
Whenever you want to leave, you can leave, CT.
Okay.
I'm not intending to end the stream until we've actually ended discussion.
All right.
But if you ever at any point that anyone needs to drop out, you can drop out with no fear of me being upset.
All right.
So that's fine. If I end up having to finish commentary all on my lonesome, I'm actually prepared to do that as well. Okay. So we get to see him try to bond with the group, and very awkward. But we see it. But with this, we actually see that he seems to be genuine, which I personally wasn't sure about at first, because I was thinking that, well, is he there and getting ready to try to do something under their noses? But he seems to actually sincerely want to make a new life.
yeah, well, that's the difference, is that he's actually there to be part of the positive change, where she's playing the system. That's
Exactly.
and it was kind of blatantly obvious to me that she was going to betray him.
It seemed likely, but exactly how was more my question, and how long would she play it? Yeah, because honestly, I thought that she was going to get him to do the research, and then take the research and do something nefarious with it.
That's kind of what I thought too. I just wasn't expecting her to do what she did right away.
Exactly. And it is kind of nice the way they have the yellow travel biscuits. It's kind of like, oh hey, it's their first bribe, but also where they come from. So they make it clear that you can't find them in the core worlds. And also, she managed to leave it there, and then get out of sight in time. So it also shows that she is shady. So yeah, now we get to see that he is in Office Space.
Oh yeah.
And it's like,
Why
why
does
the hell
it say
is
paper jam when there is no paper jam?
Yeah, and it's like, why the hell is he here? I was expecting to see him at a research station. And
You
yeah,
mean where he could do some real good because of his whole thing on cloning?
yep. And I mean, the thing that they had him do that entire speech at the opera theater about that thing.
Yeah, the whole reason he became a scientist that would actually be very invaluable to the Republic in helping people. But no, they've got him doing a shitty day-to-day desk job.
Yeah.
You basically have a super intelligent scientist who's basically doing data entry.
I mean, frankly, as we find out later in here, and as you would know if you read the Aftermath novel,
Sorry, I accidentally backed out.
Yep.
I have not read the Aftermath
No,
books.
no, I know, but I am saying this for overall. Is that at the reason that they are decommissioning the grand army of the Alliance into basically each system just taking care of themselves is because Mon Mothma is war weary due to all of the people that are dying in this endless war. How about using this really smart scientist who's coming up with methods to do cloning to save people's lives? How many of those people that you guys are bemoaning are dying would be able to be saved if you actually accepted his help for new medical procedures?
Yeah, I mean, like you think because he defected, like Leia and Mon Mothma would be like ecstatic to like this guy's research could they would have like a whole Senate Council meeting just discussing how useful he could be to the Republic.
Yeah. And hell, I'd almost expect him to be put up in housing with possibly guards on the doors to make sure that he doesn't go anywhere, but like a penthouse sort of
Yeah.
thing. He is not allowed to wander by himself, but we are going to treat you well, sir.
Yeah, again, he has a very useful talent, a very useful trade, and they'd probably allow him to continue his research.
He's not a fucking comm officer.
You'd think that, yeah. To be honest with you, it just makes the people in the New Republic, Leia and Mon Mothma included, look like stuffed shirt assholes who don't actually care.
Yes.
So you're telling me that Princess Leia and Mon Mothma, the people who have been fighting this war for so long for the right reasons, are stuffed shirt assholes who wouldn't jump on the chance of improving people's lives?
Yep, that's what we're telling you.
For fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, the aftermath, and for anybody who doesn't know, but if you've ever heard the name Chuck Wendig talked about with Scorn, he's the one that wrote the Aftermath trilogy. And he's the one that wrote about, like I said, decommissioning the Grand Army of the Alliance before the Empire was actually taken care of. The very fact that she was war weary due to people dying means that there were still active fights happening. So they started decommissioning the stuff while there was still war going on. Of course, the First Order rose. Thank you, Mon Mothma, and everybody who went in lockstep with her. And thank you, Chuck Wendig, for writing that. And thank you, Pablo Hidalgo, and everybody on your nice little council who are interested in making sure that canon goes by swimmingly. Do I dislike Disney and how they've been doing this? Yeah. So yeah, sorry about the rant, but yeah.
To be fair, that bias didn't pre-already exist. It happened over time.
Yes.
Like the writers proving over and over basically what they screwed up, basically.
Yep. Pretty much, because I actually was willing to give it a chance originally. There's a reason I read the books. I wasn't hate reading them. I was wanting to get invested.
Yeah, no logical person walks into it going like, "Oh, this is going to be shit. I can't wait to trash this." No, like most of us are like, "Ooh, I wonder what's going to happen here."
Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, when I found out that Disney bought Lucasfilm, my first thing I literally said was, "Well, there goes the expanded universe."
Yeah, but that that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm like, oh, think of all the new stories they could write, the new version of the universe they could create.
So I was basically like, okay, if you're gonna do that, and make it worth it. That's basically how I felt about it. I wasn't happy, but I was willing to give them a chance. And until Last Jedi, I really was mostly okay.
Yeah, same.
Hell, as I mentioned before, I have actually uh, before Last Jedi, I defended Padme, not Padme, I mean Rey. So yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a video or a rant of you defending Rey.
no, but I have well, I say before Last Jedi. I didn't have my channel before Last Jedi.
Right.
I had my channel more after Rise of Skywalker. At that point, why bother defending her? Pretty much all of my defenses that I had for her were blown out of the water when I saw Last Jedi. So yeah, and then she makes a point that not much has changed here, other than taking down the cogwheels. Once again, new government, same as the old. Thank you, Disney. And here he's talking about how his stuff could really help them. But yeah.
Also, why is there a restriction against touching a rock?
Oh no, actually that makes sense. Because if this is supposed to be the highest mountain, whenever we touch anything, we have a little bit of acidic water in our hands. It's not, it doesn't do much, but enough people touching it over time, and think of how many people there are, that can wear down a rock just by touching it. It's why you're not allowed to touch things when you're in a museum.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
What one person touching that dinosaur bone isn't going to cause that much of a problem. Thousands of people will.
Yeah. So, she talks about his research and how invaluable it. And again, like the whole time I'm thinking like she's going to betray him, but first she's going to help him set up so that he can continue his research.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, I couldn't have done it without you, and that keeps her close to the project. So that's where I thought it was going.
Yeah, and having it being sent to Moff Gideon, being sent off to Moff Gideon, and whatever or bad things could be done with the good research he's doing. And yes, erosion, Yivo. So yeah. It was funny seeing him go, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. That was an amusing moment for me. And then we lead into him actually asking, which yeah, bad idea even asking because now they'd be watching, even if she wasn't getting ready to betray him. And now he panics at the idea of even going to do it, but yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea that he would have to go with her, why couldn't she get it for him? It's not like he can't tell her exactly what's needed if she's so interested.
Well, she needed a scapegoat, but yeah.
I know, but I mean, if it was on the up and up.
Well, here's the thing. Even then, she might mess something up because again, she's not a scientist, not like he is.
No, but
she wouldn't know what half of that stuff in the lab is.
True, and he could ask her to bring more than needed because it wouldn't need to be brought in one night. It's not like she has any problems going there. I mean, between that social gathering and and just a few hours later, she'd apparently gone to the ship and back. and she knew the room to bring him to, so she knew what he was talking about with I need a mobile lab station. So if it's as easy for her as she makes it out to be, there's no need for her to have brought him.
Yeah.
And actually, every reason not to, because he'd be the one to get her caught, since she's the one that knows how to be subtle, and he's not.
Yeah.
So she'd have every reason not to bring him. In fact. So yeah. And like I said, I do like a lot of stuff in this portion of it. I I I I think they actually do a decent job with having with having her kind of manipulating him a bit, and we actually feel some stakes because we don't know who's going to survive and who isn't, because we don't have the Mandalorian on screen, we don't have Grogu, we don't have Bo-Katan, who they're not going to kill. We have two
Yeah.
characters that were introduced in this series. So there's no reason why they can't have bad things happen to them. So we actually have the possibility of stakes here.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah. And then we have him realizing that he's archiving equipment that's intended to be destroyed. Just as another thing to point out just how idiotic all this stuff is.
Yeah.
And like I said to my wife when I got to this scene, in anybody who thinks that the Mandalorian is being written to erase the sequels somehow, this scene all by itself puts that to rest. Because
Yep.
this scene, he puts a stake down saying, "We're in the middle of the Aftermath novel, by Chuck Wendig."
Oh yeah, no. To tell you the truth, like you kind of knew they weren't, because one of the soundtracks
Oh
they
yeah,
actually from sequels they actually added it to this episode.
the point that I'm trying to make is that this definitively, not because of some sound, not because of this little detail or that little detail, this actually puts a stake down saying we are on track for the sequels. Not just not any kind of you can interpret it this way.
Yeah, I get you.
Because there were plenty of things before this that's like, yeah, no, the Mandalorian is not leading to the sequels, but you couldn't really point to something directly and say this is why. And I will point
Well,
to this
I
and
said
say
that
this
the
is why.
writing for these shows, like the closer they get to the sequels, the writing for these shows is going to get worse.
Yep,
And
because they have to kind of justify the sequels when the closer they get. Would you agree? Hello?
I actually would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, again, anybody that was hoping that like the show would actually get me to like the sequels or the sequel era, I'm like, yeah, I don't think so, Tim.
No.
Yeah, no, it's again, like at this point, I don't really want anything to do with the sequel era anymore. Like
No.
it had its shot and it's done, and even it seems like most of Lucasfilm staff has, or story writers have abandoned it.
Maybe I
They're
honestly
leading
have no
to
clue
it for
there.
sure. They're
Yeah,
leading to it for sure, but like,
but they haven't done anything past it.
yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, it's almost like they know that they screwed up, and they don't know how to unscrew it. So yeah, now we get him going. Yes, we're doing it. They
Well,
go.
yeah, there's talk about like having Grogu in the sequel era in an attempt to like try and save it.
I mean, honestly, there's no reason why Grogu has to be he not completely not there. I mean, we already know that Filoni did exactly the same thing with Asuka. with Ahsoka. Sorry.
No, in my opinion, it's an attempt to get something that most fans can get behind.
Oh, exactly.
Like, oh, if Grogu partners up with Rey, then maybe people will like Rey. I'm like, if the people who don't like Rey as she is on her own, what makes you think adding like an adorable green frog baby
Yeah.
is going to change their mind? Most people like, or I would hope most people are already getting sick to death of. I know I am. I'm sick to death of the adorable act.
Yeah, and I would agree with that.
Like, okay, how is Grogu acting cute and just doing something adorable? How does this advance the story or the plot?
Yep. Agreed. And now we get to go for we're breaking past the checkpoint. This is that's going to be difficult, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look. We put our foot in the turnstile. Hell, we probably could have just jumped over it. And like I put in our chat, they make a button for that easy staples button.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah. Now, mind you, they are then, and they then have the droids once it's in once they're en route, going tickets, please. But that also makes you question: wait, why are they suddenly concerned? What caused the concern? What caused the concern to happen now?
Grogu adds nothing other than being a McMuffin or occasional damsel in distress.
McMuffin. Do you know where the McMuffin thing comes from?
Yeah, there was okay, so it comes from the term MacGuffin.
Yep.
And
it was
then
actually
there was like an episode of Teen Titans Go that I remember.
Oh, actually, Mulder
it
misspoke and called it and called him a McMuffin, and then just kept going with it. That's specifically with Grogu where it's coming from.
Okay.
But yeah,
I just remember an episode of Teen Titans Go where they called it the like the Egg McMuffin or Egg McGuffin or something like that. And they literally made a MacGuffin of McMuffin, basically.
Yep. And now they get to show us pretty shots of Coruscant, which are pretty.
I honestly, I like the Doctor's clothing style.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, like, given the right connections, he could probably make a really good crime boss.
Yeah. I mean, he already wouldn't worked for basically a crime boss for a bit, so yeah. And now we get the droids that for some reason now realize that there's an issue, and this turns into a scene from Final Fantasy VII. For anybody who's played that.
Tickets, please.
Mm-hmm. And what they need to do is they need to go train car by train car till they finally get to the last train car, and then they jump off of it while it's slowing down, which is exactly what they do here.
Jeez.
This is it's the exact same scene as was in Final Fantasy VII. There was a reason why the chat I went, and now I'm getting Final Fantasy VII visions. Mind you, I love the game, but
yeah,
seriously. And you're also being led by somebody else who knows what's going on. So you're going, what's going on? And you need to follow the other person who's showing you to the back, just like Pershing is doing.
I was discussing with some fans wondering what those yellow biscuits taste like.
I'm thinking graham crackers, since he seems to
So
actually like the
somebody
taste.
said like peanut butter or something like that, and I
Yeah,
said
maybe.
like probably like a Cheez-It
Okay.
because it's yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But graham cracker sounds actually interesting. Or hell,
Yeah.
even like a vanilla wafer or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And now, you want me to jump? Trust me. And we jump. Woo! And we're fine, just like in the game.
Yeah, they happen to land somewhere soft, conveniently,
Yep. I
from a
mean,
moving train.
even if the train has slowed down enough for it to be feasible, you're going to have bruises. Just saying.
Yeah, the one of them should have been limping a bit.
Mm-hmm. And now we're at the breaking yard, and she says there's no guards needed because these ships are inoperable as she operates the ship. Yeah, we're not taking crowbars out to open this thing up. She is
No,
activating. She is
somehow the
activating a
doors are
power
still
source.
operational. I didn't even notice that. Holy crap!
Yeah, no need if they're all inoperable as she operates it.
Momentum is not a thing.
Yeah, like I said, there's no crowbar. This is it actually working as it's supposed to operate.
I mean, if this was a yard door, I would make sense. But this is a door to a Star Destroyer, a
Yeah.
Star Destroyer that's been decommissioned and being torn apart.
Mm-hmm. Now, admittedly, saying that it, I think what she means to say is that the ships are not flyable or something like that. But that's not what she said. And even so, why wouldn't there be a guard?
So you just say, "Oh, it's not space worthy. It's got
Yeah.
power, but it's not. It's got power, but it's not space worthy."
So apparently, we don't. There's no guards needed. Which, mind you, there may actually be guards, and she's lying to him for
Yeah.
right now. But he seems to just believe it is part of the issue. You know what I mean?
If there's no guards around, why did they have to sneak?
That too.
Precisely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There had to be like, even if it's like not human guards, there should be like droid sentries moving around.
Yeah. And now we find out what their names are.
I missed her full name. I know he's.
Yeah.
You know.
That there you go. It's
Oh, okay.
it's a Liacan. Communications officer. The person that really they should be saying who cares when they take her in and go, okay, amnesty program, do better, yada yada yada.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. Because she's a communications officer, she should be monitoring stuff like traffic.
Yeah. But
what is her job?
Who knows?
Yeah, they never really explained her job while she's in the program. Pershing, we know, has a crappy desk job, despite being
informant?
like, I don't know, but despite being like, you know, despite being actually useful to the New Republic,
she might actually be doing something to do with comms because unlike his research, communications are not made illegal by fiat.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I would also say, like we've said before, they should value a defector of a science like him, of scientists like him, more than the comm officer defecting, unless she has the mother load of intel to share.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it should have been something to the degree of like part of the reason why she's helping him is to advance her own career.
Oh,
like,
exactly.
Oh, I'm friends with Dr. Pershing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're like, nope.
And now, like I said, she led him directly to where the mobile where the mobile lab stuff was. So she knew where it was, and there's no need. There's no reason why she needed to do it all in one trip. She could have just got him stuff.
Yeah, he could have said, hey, I need this first, and then I need this, and then I need this. And yeah, they could have easily smuggled it in, one day at a time.
Yeah, because like I said, they've basically shown that by herself, she's able to get here and back without a problem.
Yeah, and then like if he ended up making a breakthrough, he could say, oh, she's my lab assistant now.
Yeah.
Because she would actually learn from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was also thinking as they were leaving, he's carrying this big case. He's got something else under his other arm. I mean, how are they going to sneak that back?
Yeah, honestly, that was something that I was thinking. Actually, the moment that they had to exit with the Final Fantasy VII jump off was okay. Now, how do you plan to get back? I mean, even without the case, where are you going to go to jump back to get back on the train to get back?
You're going to be doing a lot of walking.
Yeah. And then, like you said, they're going to have this big case, and then actually, once they get back to Amnesty Housing, is nobody going to notice that you came back with this big case?
Exactly.
Well, it's late, so I would understand why some people wouldn't notice. But I did ask the question: how the hell are you guys going to get back? Yeah. Initially, I thought that she was already like with Republic intelligence, and like this was like a test for him, and then he was going to start doing actual things. I'm like, no, I guess the New Republic is really that incompetent.
Yeah, but they're okay with using mind flayers.
Oh yeah, you mean the brainwashing machines?
Yeah, cloning in getting really cool new medical procedures, stuff like that. No, that's terrible. A mind flayer, brainwashing, that's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, no. Basically, what you're saying, basically what you're saying is new cloning for new fields in medical equipment that could actually save lives, illegal and unethical research.
Yeah.
Brainwashing people into making them complacent to your new world government. A-okay.
100% what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So once again, it's Disney kind of showing their hand about what they think about governments, because the thing that benefits the government is allowed, even though it's unethical. But the thing that would benefit the people is not allowed because it doesn't really benefit the government.
Yeah. And again, what were Han, Luke, and Leia fighting for?
I'm pretty sure that they were fighting for good things.
Yeah.
To happen. To find for changes for the better.
So you're telling me their fight was meaningless because nothing good is actually happening.
Yeah, and in some ways arguably worse.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Disney. Yeah, now. Oh, and I mentioned this in the chat. I really don't like lens flares like this. I really don't.
Oh, you know what I should bring up about the brainwashing machine?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Andor, the Empire uses a brain scrambler to screw with a character named Bix, basically kind of mess with her mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like so that she's easier to break, like sending like shockwaves of pain through her brain and everything.
Oh, lovely.
So and everybody railed against the Empire for that. Like New Republic sends you a weird brainwashing pleasurable tingle through your brain. No, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Yiva would like to pop in, so I'm going to send him the link. So 1 sec. I just noticed that he asked about 10 minutes ago. Da, 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 da. There we go. Invite. Copy. Going over to Twitter. And there you go, Yivo. I have sent you the link. So we'll see if he pops on. Okay, so yeah, and you're saying that Bix is victim of a mind scrambler, and the Empire, and since the Empire did it, everyone was upset about it.
Well,
But
yeah,
now-
no, like the fandom rage. So like, oh, screw the Empire, they're totally evil. New
Yeah,
Republic
but-
doesn't. I haven't seen anyone bat an eye at it.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that those episodes of Andor. What happened with the torture,
Mhm.
the mind torture?
Honestly, I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to get back to giving it a shot. I just got bored after the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, it got a little sadistic with the one ISB lady.
Lovely. So yeah, this is Lens Flare R us over here. Yeah.
That's funny.
And then then she's pretending to lead him away, running away, and then stop. Yeah. And if there was something that she couldn't have gotten and got herself in that box, that would also almost make sense, because that would be like, yes, this is what we needed. Thank you for your assistance. Now go to the go to the brainwasher. But it's not like anything was gained.
Yeah, at least by their standards.
Yep. And here's Evo. Hey,
Hello.
Evo.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you
Can
just
you hear me?
fine. Yep.
How's
Can you hear
everybody doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We're getting close to wrapping this thing up, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. I just thought I'd pop in for the end. That's all right.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we're about to get to the ultimate thing that shows how cartoonishly evil they make the New Republic, which is supposed to be a good thing. So yeah. Do you like what they've done with the New Republic?
Not really. They made them pretty fucking stupid. You ask
Yeah.
me? I mean,
They've made
I
them
don't like
stupid and unethical.
gone. Yeah,
You were just adding on to what you were saying. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The more I think about that, the more angering it is, because it's like, can we not devalue the original trilogy? So yeah, he wakes up here, and I don't know if anyone else noticed, but they actually have him say it's a trap.
Yeah, I cringed pretty hard at that.
Let's see here. Already submitted a report. And then what? Tell you. I think there's been a mistake. Yeah, we got that. Okay. Okay, I'm not seeing exactly where it is here, and I'm trying to jump around a little bit so it's not catching me. But basically, he says as to this guy, it was a trap, and then he actually acknowledges it by just kind of turning his head side. I was like, It's like, really, we're telling the Moncal, having him tell Moncal, it was a trap. Yeah. Are they trying to go for the member berries?
Yep, cringe, member berries, cringe.
Yeah. Actually, wait one sec.
We're probably wrapping up soon.
Yeah. What did she tell you? I just turned off the sound. Here we go. It should be coming soon. This is Mind Flayer. No, I know what this thing is. Yeah. Okay, come on. I know that I saw that I heard what I'm saying. I was just trying to help. Okay. You don't understand. She brought me there. It was a trap. And now watch what the Boncal does.
Yeah, it's like he knows the line.
Yeah,
I saw
watch. He goes, woof. Like, come on. So yeah, the Mind Flayer.
I just said they said they're decommissioning all this Imperial technology just because it's Imperial, but then they use what's basically an Imperial torture device as like a therapy machine.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange.
Mm-hmm. And then they just leave her alone in the room with the controls without any locks on the controls. So then, yeah. And then
why do they trust her so much?
I don't know.
Especially
as of right now, it just seems like they're just being stupid.
It seems a lot more even in maybe the people working there have also made a little trip to the couch too.
Yeah. The cognitive function's going down. Yeah, now she turns up to full Mind Flayer level, which I'm assuming she's doing so she can turn him onto her side or something like that.
I assume she was turning his brain to mush.
Yeah, that's possible too. But why would why would you do that? He's an asset, but he's not an asset that right now would actually help her with Moff Gideon. So she would want to turn the asset. And this thing screws around with minds. So
maybe it's because he's using his intellect to help the Republic, and she doesn't want him to do that. So she's just gonna bleep his brain now.
But then, why did she convince him to do it?
Because she's an assassin.
Then why didn't she just kill him? This is extremely convoluted.
Yeah, but I mean, it does make sense. Because she can't have weapons.
Well, yeah, but she could have, but she could have pushed him off the train. She could have done multiple things on the way there, needing to.
Yeah, but this way it doesn't look like foul play.
In theory, nobody knew where they were.
Yeah, no, that's true. But they wouldn't investigate. They wouldn't investigate.
Yeah, I can see your point. Because a body would have been found.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they don't have to investigate this. It was a terrible accident.
Yeah. But then they're just but then that feels, and they could do this because they are Disney and the writers are dumb.
Yep.
They are then throwing away a character that they just spent about 38 minutes along with 2 other episodes making us like.
Well, that's probably all his arc is going to happen. Let's just show how we get away with this issue. We just introduce him cold, and we've got some other things, other media that backs up this, and we want to get rid of him anyway. So let's just make it look like that.
Yeah.
And I mean it's just a way to get rid of a character. For about 38 minutes, and he's in there and he's gone. We never have to see him again.
Yeah, I don't think that's where they're going with it, but I don't think they're going anywhere good with it either. So,
yeah, I just get that assassin feel because there's no trace, no weapon used, no trauma to the body except for the Mind Flayer, which is sanctioned, which is actually sanctioned, and whoever she's working for will be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a stretch, but
with
just
the great writers we have at at Lucasfilm right now.
At Dudney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. But now you can see where the stupidity took them, right?
Yep.
Yep. Oh. Yep. Golly, that's really ingenious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's why I was telling Naza when we were watching. I go, she's an assassin.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've assumed that from the very beginning, actually.
Yeah.
Can I ask, does the Republic know that she entrapped him? Because if they don't, it must look really weird her being there with him, right? I didn't understand any.
Well, the controller said, well, she was in there with the controller, and he basically bought her story. It's her friend, and she was just wanting to help him.
No, I meant before that on the Star Destroyer. She was there with him when they got arrested.
Yeah.
But they don't listen to that. They don't listen to that.
Well, there's the thing. And she probably already told them that this was happening, and that he was going to go, and that he was probably going to go without with or without her. So she was going to go with him and make sure that the New Republic knew exactly where they were, so they could see that she wasn't lying about his intentions.
Well, it just seemed like it was a set-up bust. It was like a drug bust, and they were being surveilled, and all the lights come on like a helicopter. Put your hands in the air, and then she's looked at as, okay, this is equal to us trusting you. You just told us about this, and you helped us set up this sting, and now she's going to look better to the New Republic. But at the same time, she's probably like she might be like a double where she's playing them, and I can see where that comes in.
She's almost certainly with Moff Gideon.
Yeah,
and they made a point of telling. I forgot to mention it earlier that Moff Gideon is in the wind.
Yeah. They don't know nobody knows where Moff Gideon is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure she will.
Yep, but I'm pretty sure she already does.
Yeah. So it's a perfect setup because she gives him the scenario, and she takes him there, and he's caught with the goods, and that's it.
Yeah, I just can't quite believe that they'd be dumb enough to spend this time building him up as such a likable character to just off him.
Yeah.
But they can't. But they could do it. This is Disney.
Yeah, it is Disney. It is Disney. They've done worse things.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's basically Mando. Maybe season 3, episode 3.
Yeah, except they did a Boba Fett in reverse on that one.
Yeah,
what a joke.
It was like less than 1/3 Mando.
Right. Yeah, I mean 38. It's 38 minutes, and it was a total of 58. It's almost all of it.
It was 38 minutes with them, 15 minutes with Din, Grogu, and Bo, and the rest were credits.
Right.
I actually clocked the times.
Yeah. No, I figured you would.
Hell, you saw me doing it in the chat.
Damn right. Damn right. I can't wait to see what we're going to talk about next Friday. This is getting very weird.
Yeah.
I think I'll have popcorn next time I watch The Mandalorian just to see what how much worse can it possibly get than this. That's
I should have alcohol.
Maybe I'll have a stiff drink with me while we're doing this.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Drunk streams are fun.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's funny because it's just basically 3 of us talking about this mostly, and it's like, wow,
CT here was here.
we almost Yeah, we almost figured it out already.
Yeah.
I don't know what your buddy says. What does he think? Your buddy Evo?
Don't know. He's here to talk to say whatever he thinks.
That's sorry, what was that?
We were asking for your take.
Like it's on Mando as a whole, or the episode.
Just the episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit like maybe like the whole stuff on Coruscant that could have been condensed down to like 10 minutes. Really, it just felt like
Yeah.
Seems a bit pointless. But that's just the show in general, isn't it?
Right.
Yes.
Like
It's bold.
There's a lot of things that don't make sense, and they try to make them make sense, and that doesn't make sense.
It's like doubling down on an already proven misinformation and conspiracy smear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
at
just
some point we should watch like anybody who hasn't seen Maverick should watch it, and then we should do one of these discussing Maverick.
I know my folks have seen it, and I caught the ending to it.
Yeah, make sure to watch it, and it could be fun to actually discuss something that is good.
Yeah.
When I do it though, I want to be going through the X-wing Rogue Squadron books again. So
Yeah.
Honestly, Top Gun Maverick is very similar to X-wing Rogue Squadron.
well, I believe that. Again,
That-
I only went through my dad and I only went through the abridged ones. Obviously, planning to do the unabridged ones, and
Yeah.
the abridged ones were good. That's
Yeah.
the abridged ones got me interested into the X-wing books. So now I'm interested to know the little details that I didn't get last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Alright,
that's
I'm gonna call it for myself here.
Okay.
If you guys still want to keep chatting, you go ahead. I'm gonna tap out.
I was about to end it, but before you do that, I was just going to play to see if I could quickly find my short where I compared Top Gun Maverick to Rogue Squadron.
Oh, I
I
remember
gotta
that
see
short.
that.
That was a good short.
I haven't seen it.
Play it.
Yeah, one sec while I see if I can go find it.
Yeah, it's a great short. You got to hear it.
Okay, well, I'm listening.
Yeah, give me a sec. I just need to find it.
Cool.
Because it's
I
not
can
something
see
I was
exactly
planning on.
what
So
Parallels Net was talking about, because when he did that, Top Gun Maverick had come out, and I had just gone through the X-wing comics and audiobooks, so I'm like, yes.
You mean we had just gone through it?
Well, you and I went through the abridged audiobooks. I went through the comics on my own, and
Yeah.
again, both solid stories.
Yeah. I love the unabridged. I love that one that we listened to. All those.
Yeah, we listened to the abridged versions. The unabridged versions are done by Mark Thompson, so there's going to be a bit more uniqueness in the voices.
Oh, that's going to be good.
Apparently, Net said I should keep my ears open for his version of Booster Tarek, and I'm already excited.
Oh, Booster's a great character.
Oh,
Yep.
I know. I love the dynamic of him butting heads with Talon Card. That was just.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Like, what's better than one crickety old bastard? Two crickety old bastards going head to head about who gets what.
Yep. Okay, and now just need to change the screen I'm sharing. I would need to be a little careful here so you don't accidentally put something up you don't want to.
Wow.
Okay.
Cool.
Maverick. I just gotta say, holy.
Okay, which one of you?
Well, I just watched Top Gun Maverick. I just gotta say, holy shit. Maverick was Wedge Antilles. I mean, in the expanded universe, we had Wedge Antilles who never got above captain for so long because he felt that he belonged there as a fighter jockey, as his contemporaries moved up to admiral. That is exactly what Maverick was. Because this movie shows exactly how to make a really good fighter-based movie, and I just so wish that Star Wars would take note of this when making in the show Rogue Squadron. I doubt they will, but I really hope they do. Anyway, have a good day. Bye. Well, I just watched Top Gun Maverick.
So yeah, that's what I had to say about Top Gun Maverick in relation to Rogue Squadron. Wedge Antilles is Maverick.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good. It makes me think back on Wedge, because I mean, for a long time he kept refusing promotion.
Yup.
Yeah, because he didn't want to be stuck behind. He wanted to be out there, and just like
he's basically, he says, like, I don't mind the general's rank, but I still want to be able to fly an X-wing. So they had to concede on their end, like, yeah, you know what, fine, you can fly an X-wing.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing as Maverick. He doesn't want to take a job that takes him out of the cockpit.
Exactly.
He says, "That's what I am. I'm a pilot. I'm an aviator. I'm a pilot. That's what I am."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Maverick, and I'm going to be watching Maverick in just a little bit because, yeah, palate cleanser.
Good idea. Let's watch. You watch something really good so you can forget some of the bad.
Yeah. And as we were talking about the takeoff stuff, and I was starting the danger zone and that stuff, I was like, yeah, I need to rewatch this.
You know what? Here's the thing. See, episode 2 wasn't bad. It was like, wait, maybe it's getting better. No, damn it.
Yep.
No, I can't wait to see the episode. What type of? I'm hoping I'm wrong, but what type of shit show episode 4 is going to be? So.
Yep.
And again, like the previous seasons of Mandalorians, I didn't want to go into this disliking or hating it. And I don't hate those first 2 seasons. Those are actually, they have their problems, but overall they're fine. This one is shaping up to be like, I don't know what they're doing, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that nobody watches this stuff with wanting to dislike it, but I would say that nobody in our circle that I typically have on the stream watches.
Yeah, of course not. All right, I'm gonna tap out, guys.
Yep, and I'm gonna end the stream here too.
All right, we'll catch you guys next Friday.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. And if you want,
you should pop in earlier next time, Evo, and get your takes on the episode if you.
Yeah, you're definitely welcome.
Try to be more punctual.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Later, guys.
Okay. Later.
Yeah.